Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. You are back in the Gaming Circle podcast, a podcast where every week we usually try to, discern and have conversations about what's going on in the minds of the gamers on the gaming streets, as we like to say. Usually, we do that myself and the Everborn Saga, but unfortunately, he wasn't here last week because the man was boogie boarding and making me jealous. But he has made his triumphant return to Everborn.
I was on water slides. I was surfing, riding waves with the family. It was one of the little ones' 15th birthday, and so we went out to it's like an indoor water park. And it was good, man. It was good to be outside around people, fully vaccinated.
Like normal.
You know what I'm saying? No mask.
Yep.
It was nice. I'm not gonna lie. I need to do stuff like that more often. I'm always so focused on these things I'm trying to accomplish. I never take time to do that stuff for myself. You know, as a rule, ever since I was in my 20s, I said every year I am leaving the shores of the United States. I'm going somewhere. I don't care where it is. I've been all around the world. Haven't made it to China yet or anywhere in Africa, but I'm working on it. And like 2020 was the first year that I didn't travel anywhere in over a decade.
Wow. Okay.
Right. And you know, it's and then now we're in 2021 and it's just kind of like, I'm trying to get out of that groove, but I also like staying home because I'm an introvert. But for me, like, I don't leave the house. For me, if I leave the house, I need to be traveling somewhere. Like that's really the way I look at it, right? Like
I feel you.
I'm not like I need to go to a party kind of person. I don't like people's barbecues. Like I'll have a barbecue. You can come here, but I'm not going to your fucking house, right? But so it was nice to go out again. I like the feeling, and I'm going to travel again soon. Maybe I'll book a cruise or something like that.
Cool. I've done multiple cruises.
Well, you're in Florida,
out of Tampa, so
you can.
It's cool. Yes, we've done multiple cruises to many places. It's been fun.
You can
I actually haven't traveled
and get on a cruise.
and hit a cruise. That's right. I haven't actually traveled since a little before the pandemic started. A lot of my family members live in the Netherlands still. I haven't seen my mother in some time, and the problem with having family, I have family in the Netherlands. I have family in England. So if you're going on vacation, it's never a vacation, especially when you got kids.
No. Let me stop you right there. When I go on vacation and I have family in a place, whether it's Jamaica or somewhere in the UK or whatever, I don't tell people I'm there.
Oh yeah. That's what we do. We tend to have a week by ourselves, and then another week we say, "Hey, we're here." same kind of situation.
You're not gonna find out because I don't post my pictures real time on Instagram.
Well, right? You miss the fam, you miss moms, man. You got to go out there. But we digress from the Vacation Circle podcast, and let's get to where we are here. Welcome to the Gaming Circle. As I said, hey, Big Bad Mo, welcome. Beast Mode 10, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us early. Now, we have the hardest working man in gaming in podcasting watching as well. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Boomstick XL. Thank you, sir. This week is going to be fun because, with the whole conversations about PC gaming and this and that, we've been having many different convos, and this time I think it's time we flip it. And we've been very focused on more on the consoles, as we tend to be more console heathens, but probably more me than you. I have been like venturing more out and using the tools at my disposal a bit more. So I figured this week would be a perfect week to actually have some conversations about PC gaming and how we feel about it.
Trash.
Yeah, don't start that. Don't start that. So the slanderer will try to slander, but I'm going to defer because this is not going to be one of those. Usually on this podcast, I'm trying to leave the hot takes for the other podcast that we do. This week's episode is going to be more fun than it will be slanderous.
I want to talk about this for a second because right now you just saw me stand up, and I'm probably going to have to do it again.
Oh, here we go.
One of my 4K monitors just randomly disconnects, right? Yeah. And there's no video and it goes black. and I have to unplug it for 5 to 10 seconds and then plug it back in for it to start working. It just did it again, right?
Okay. And is that a feature or a bug, sir?
That is some shit you deal with when you game on PC.
No. You didn't answer the question.
No.
If it's a feature, then you can complain about PC gaming, blah, 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 blah. It's a bug. So how about you get a better monitor and stop blaming it on the damn?
Oh, no. I have the best monitors, good sir.
Oh, let's keep it moving.
All the best monitors.
To say.
I'm not using that 1440p widescreen. But what?
Yeah, my 14, my thing's beautiful, baby. You just jealous of that 21 by 9 aspect ratio.
Try sharing your screen.
Oh, well, not everybody can handle the wide goodness that I got over here.
Wow.
Pause. Needless to say, let's start this
I gotta unplug again, but I'm here. Don't worry. Don't
no worries. Yeah, no worries. Well, let's start this conversation, but we will start with what we've been playing. I'll start first because it's not been too much this week, but I figured that'd be a great place to start. We can catch our bearings, yourself, myself, and then we can head off into the topic that I really want to discuss right now. I've been talking about this with people on the internet. I think Boom was gracious enough to let me crash his breakfast with Boom yesterday. I had a quick chat about that.
Was King on the show? How did he feel about the Steam Deck?
He was also and actually it's funny. He and I have very similar opinions on it because we have similar tech that this replaces. So we'll get into that. But he was also pretty excited about it, although we will have to talk about who it's for. I think that's an important conversation as to who this product is actually for. But yeah, we'll start with what we've been playing. Believe it or not, the little man showed up in the spot. I was on. I think you saw the tweet about that. So I've been getting refamiliarizing myself with the ecosystem, even though of course it's exactly the same as the other one. But for some reason, it feels a little different when I'm playing it on the little man. And of course,
now is that the one you keep in the office?
Yes, this is the one that's in the office right now. Right now, I'm porting it to my monitor for work, but I will most likely get another monitor up here where I will be placing it so I can, so we can do that multiplayer goodness in the office.
So we don't know this yet, but does console support widescreen for Halo Infinite?
And no, if it does, I will tell you definitively
your monitor would be the perfect thing to go.
I will tell you definitively that it does not. Although that is a big reason why I will most likely, because what I do, so what we do usually, what I do is by necessity, I work a lot. This is my office. My living room is right over there where my consoles are, but most likely I'm here for working during the day. So chances are when Halo comes out, for example, I'll be playing here and then sync save to the console when that time comes. So I will be benefiting from that nice 21 by 9 aspect ratio that they will allow me to do that. But I can tell you definitively that when you plug in the Series S to a widescreen monitor, it will give you black bars on left and right. At least the UI will, and so will games. It supports monitors, but it doesn't support ultra wide. No, but that's my point. The console itself doesn't support widescreen, so the screen.
And you don't think an update for the Xbox could come out in time for their flagship game that supports ultra wide? I would
capital L love that because I would benefit from that. But for now, hey, at least it supports the monitor, this monitor as is, right? It supports it at 1440p. So Series S hits the 1440p. It'll just kind of be cropped, but it still supports it. PS5 won't even give you that. So I have to leave my PS5.
This is not about PS5.
No. Don't get me wrong. This is not slanderous. I'm just saying I would be leaving my PS5 in the office as well, if that was possible, but unfortunately it's not.
Well, so I have plans to get maybe 2 more PlayStations and one more Xbox because I have a PlayStation and Xbox in the living room. I have an Xbox in the bedroom, but I might need some in my office just for the streaming and the slacking off during work hours, right?
Indeed.
We didn't say that online. No one's listening, right?
Yes. But we also got Fuzzy Belvedere in the spot. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, man.
So
how goes it?
So the thing is, I think that people take for granted what these cloud saves do and cross progression does.
Indeed,
this idea of like, I'm trying to get to a place where I have I'm working on 3 Xboxes that I could just pick up and play and continue exactly where I left off from. And just, it's not about the plastic. It is about
just
the
about
player.
Getting to what you need to do.
When you center your focus around the player and the things, the content coming to you the way you want it, I just think people really take that for granted, because guess what? If I want the full ray tracing and all the highest end stuff, I'm going to play on the high end PC.
That's right.
I'm going to pick up right where I left off when I'm on my couch in the middle of the day. And then if I wake up in the middle of the night because I can't sleep, I'm in the bedroom, I will play right there, continuing that same thing. And they made that so seamless that people take it for granted. Right.
Well, and it seemed like it wasn't that big a deal until all of a sudden, because as you say, it's about getting to your destination, which is the game itself, not necessarily all the mishigas to get you there. So you get so used to it. But then when you hit other platforms that don't offer that, or it's not as seamless, and this is not specifically PlayStation, because I get the same from my Switch from time to time. Some PC games support it, some don't, things like that. Then it becomes like, this thing that I've taken for granted for all this time, there's a value there. It's worth more than we give it credit for, because it's just kind of intrinsic in our lives. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. Ask yourself this question: are you here for the games, right?
Or are you here for the
plastic?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like why are you gaming for? What are you here to support? What do you want to support you? Do you need to bend yourself into pretzels so that you can support the plastic? Or is the goal, the end goal, to play the game? And I think it's to play the game. However, and wherever.
It should be in your best interest when the plastic when you're having to bend yourself to play that plastic, that maybe you should, be more vocal about the fact that that's a problem, right? They should be bending themselves.
We're not going to do that today, sir. I know where you're going.
Exactly.
We're not talking about that today.
Needless to say. So yes, Beast Mode asking, how deceptively small is the compared is this Series S? Forgive me, compared to the Series X that I also have in the living room. Wow, bro! Like, wow, it is so tiny. Like, you could put this in a backpack and you're just good. Like, it's very good. For me, honestly, I enjoy it being here. But when I want to really have some extended Xbox time, I'll go to my living room, or I'll even backbone it or something like that. As Everborn astutely pointed out, it's always about getting to the thing you're there for, which is the games, right? So it's the Netflix idea, right? Everybody used to buy the top end Blu-rays for $30, and then it became more convenient to just stream it. If you really want that full 4K experience, you can always sit in front of your Blu-ray and get that done, right?
Funny you should mention.
Oh yeah.
Are we talking about that today?
That's an extra credit topic. So let's at least move on to yes. It does.
Netflix might be the Netflix of gaming.
No, well, see, folks have been having a lot of chatter about that, and I have thoughts that I don't know may counteract some of that narrative. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So to finish off quickly, because we diverted pretty quickly. To finish off what we have been playing, I'm still going through Mass Effect like a fine wine, and I will continue to do that. And Doom Eternal's patch update came out, right? And it's blowing minds and popping heads and all that. And I had to jump back in on Little Man. Had to see how amazing that thing is. It's still wow. Like, to see that little guy pump out such really cool graphics, pretty awesome. And I'm kind of stuck on Yakuza Like a Dragon. Whenever possible, I'm trying to play that game. I don't know why. It's so much fun and so weird. Have you tried that thing?
What? Not yet. It's downloaded though. I have it downloaded.
Oh, it's so good.
I am trying to finish A Plague's Tale right now.
Oh yeah. I saw you doing that. I have a problem with A Plague's Tale.
What's that?
And maybe, and it's a bug. I know it's a bug. But it's unique to me, and it's very strange. So whenever I boot up the game, and I played it to I would say about 50%, and then I stopped, and I knew that I would eventually get back to it. So I think at the time something diverted me, right? And then of course the new patches came out, and I'm like, hey, let's go back to my save. I'm looking forward to it. When you load up my game, you see my save, right? But when you see my save and you press the save to continue it, the next screen says new game. And if you've played A Plague's Tale before, you see that the save states, there's a bunch of save state options available, slots for you to add your save, right? So just for the sake of troubleshooting, I created a new save, played the game for about 5 minutes in a different slot. Now that one, when I go to continue, it continues. The first one that I have 60% in on, when I hit continue, it goes to a new game. Very strange. Does that on my PC as well, which means whatever corruption's happening there, it's in the save in the cloud rather than local to the box. So that's just unique to me.
Your save got lost in the cloud is what you're saying.
Yeah, although it still shows the last time I played, it shows how far I am, everything. It's just when you press on it to continue, it wants to start you at level 1 rather than continue the save. It's a weird bug. It's a weird situation. Yeah. I've already sent Microsoft I'm in the insider program, but I don't think this is specific to them. But still, I've sent the update to them. So because even on my PC, same thing happens. You see the save of 60% in, and you hit it to kind of continue, and it wants to take you back to, oh, do you want to play easy, hard, or start the game over again? Which is unusual. But yeah, that's why I have not continued A Plague's Tale. I'll probably have to just suck it up and start from level 1 again. But I'm just like, oh, I was so far, So I haven't really continued it. But okay, let's move swiftly along. And hey, I see Pixels in the spot. Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate you joining as well. Let's move on swiftly to. We have a lot of topics, so let's get to where we want to be right now. So let's first and foremost, this will be fun. I want to talk about the Steam Deck. Okay. And let's bring up some visual aids to assist in the Steam Deck conversation. Oh, did you try changing the chapters? I kind of want to. I know I could start a new save. I'm sorry. This is. And I'm bouncing all over the place today. This is a question for Big Bad Mo, asking me if I've tried changing chapters. I thought that you could just continue. I feel like it would skip at least my checkpoints if I start just from the chapter. But you're right. At least that would be better than starting from scratch. I may give that a shot. I appreciate that recommendation. So let's have a quick chat about the Steam Deck.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how
it's
quick
hilarious. That's what I was gonna say. You really think this is gonna be a quick chat? That's cute.
But let's at least start this conversation. Okay. So we'll start at the beginning. This thing showed up. Was it the day of pre-order beginnings of the play?
No, it's the day before, OLED? And they said it was coming. You noticed that XBYA, right?
Oh yeah. But have you noticed it's kind of a combination of both R1, R2, and XBYA.
I mean,
and it's inline instead of offset. It's kind of like they took all the languages from the various and kind of smushed it together on all of them.
You're talking about this is it's a Xbox mobile device.
It's a Nintendo Switch with PlayStation, with Xbox controllers and PlayStation triggers. It's so weird. And of course, they had to add touchpads to make sure it's from Valve.
I need to understand because everything being at the top like that with the triggers and these side buttons, is this going to give me carpal tunnel?
Believe it or not, so it's good that we start there. Believe it or not, most people don't really know Valve as a hardware manufacturer because they've only manufactured small amounts of hardware, right? They're usually it's always a means to an end for them, right? They're in the environment, they see something that it's not serving them correctly, so then they go, screw it, we'll make it ourselves. People were all about the Steam Link. I wasn't about that. By the time I got onto the Steam Link, it was more software than hardware. But I do have the Steam controller. I actually have two of them because by the time I got on to the Steam controller, they were basically at a fire sale, and I bought two because when the USB dongle goes away, there's just no way to replace it. So now I have this, and when this breaks, because it's known to have what do they call it? This was notorious for having quality control issues in the beginning.
Well, but okay, speaking of that,
but quickly to answer your question, they really think that's one thing you will notice about Valve. They think things through to a very alarming level. So even though it may look weird to you, give it a shot. I say that because of my experience with this controller, which looks weird as F, but I'm telling you, this thing is it's an artifact of its time. It deserves far more respect than it got because it's a very interesting controller. It requires learning, but when you get it, you can play full PC games you could never play on a PC on a console with this thing. I'm not as good at it, but there are some who are like genius, and then the ergonomics are great. I also have the Valve Index right there next to my blue light over there.
Jesus, why?
And that thing is also very quality. So that's why I say that even though it looks weird, they've actually even come out and said, hey, we really thought about the ergonomics. So
I just think about the longevity of this thing, just like, because what happened to Steam Machine? I don't like who talks about the Valve Index.
Those who know,
those control, like the Steam controllers, all these things, like everybody gets excited about them, and then like a couple of months after they release, nobody talks about it. They rarely get support.
Remember what I said? This is a who is this for kind of conversation. That's where I want to go with this. So continue.
And the problem is the idea of something like this is chef's kiss, right?
But it's the execution,
even maybe the execution is there, but it has to catch on. People have to adopt it for it to really be taken to its full potential.
I hear you, but you are uniquely qualified to understand what this is. This is the Tesla Model X, or maybe the S. The Model 3 is not down the line yet. They need the S and X to catch on. Not like
so. Where's their Model S of the VR? It never came.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Model 3 of the VR.
Whoa! Hold on. Yes, it did. It absolutely did. It's just for those.
Which one is that?
Let me pay it. I'll explain it. For those who are paying attention to the mainstream, you didn't see it. But what you don't know is, since the Valve Index has come into the environment, they've open sourced a bunch of their tech, and HP's version, a whole bunch have come since then that are much cheaper, that literally use Valve's Index tech. That's what they wanted. They are a means to an end. They don't want to sell hardware. They just want VR to be a thing, so people buy VR games on Steam.
You're calling this the Surface, basically.
Yes, 100%. You get it now. This is their baseline. This is both their baseline as well as the Model X. Because
this
Valve
is not the first mobile gaming PC.
Of course not. But actually, it's quite interesting you say that. Yesterday, I happened to be watching Linus, the Linus Tech Tips, his channel, and he was talking about this as well. Very knowledgeable guy. If you've never seen his stuff, you should pay attention. Yeah. And he was talking about it as well. And he, of course, has all the other variants that have come to the market already, right? And the reason why he is super excited about this is every single other company that has attempted to make something like this, except for Dell, who had an amazing looking prototype and never released it. Every other company that actually releases this thing ends up making like it's a decision making process, right? You have to make, it's like working out. You don't make the arm strong. If you don't spend too much time on arm day and forget leg day, because then you're discombobulated. And every single other manufacturer up till this point has always done that. They put too much emphasis in one spot, and it suffers. It helps makes them suffer on the other. Most of the others have ridiculously high resolution screens, which kills battery life. They things like that. And they're thousands of dollars, or even the cheapest ones are like $800 just to start, things like that. And because of that, it never catches on. I suspect that Steam is using this, like you said, as the Surface to go, this is the recipe. This is the function. And not only that, but they've also actually shared that they're definitely going to be, letting the hardware speak and letting other hardware partners take their design and moving forward with it. Gabe Newell's interview said so.
You know what the problem with that is? No one has made a better Surface than the Surface.
That is indeed. Well, you know what? I will push back a little bit on that, because no. It's not about that. I hear you. But since the Surface came out, the Surface has actually served its purpose exactly. Since the Surface came out,
been a bunch of Surface
HP
clones.
is no longer allowed to make that plastic ridiculousness that then you throw Windows Vista on that has like 8 gigs and then you go, oh, Vista sucks. No, they raised the minimum standard floor.
One thing you said, just a complete sidebar.
Please.
That's one thing that I really hate. This is not gaming related, People will buy a $300 fucking PC and then it performs like trash, and then go out and buy a $2,000 Mac and be like, look at the difference.
Exactly.
Buy it. You know what? We're not turning this into that show today. But
see, this show works better when we disagree and we're agreeing too much. Stop it.
One thing that Pixel says, he says, as a Model S owner, put that up on the screen. See, here's the thing, Pixel.
Indeed.
I am a Model 3 owner. I need all those things worked out before I jump on.
And that's fine. And that's why I started this conversation with who is this for? Because definitely, and based on his comments and all the past comments that I've heard from Pixel, this is for him. He's a Model S owner, right? This Steam Deck is 100% for me. 100%. Okay. Now, what was it? Yesterday on Boom Show, during Breakfast with Boom, Mag was on there, and he correctly pointed out, like, this is not, everybody's comparing it to the Switch. This is not a Switch. The pricing is ridiculous, in Canada specifically, and obviously in other countries, the pricing will be really astronomical. It's just not for the mainstream. It's not supposed to be. It's for people like us who will go on Steam. Yes, who will go on Steam and hit buy, and hit refresh. It's for us right now.
We get to talk about that trash buying experience.
We will.
Okay.
Like and when this thing becomes so ubiquitous among us, we then, work out the kinks, because we do that. And we also tell our friends who are the normals. So then when Valve comes out with the Model 3 version, which will be cheaper, then you'll start to see, hey, this is actually competing. This is not for the normal consumer. It just isn't. All the stuff it can do, the open-endedness of it, you can hack this thing to pieces. Like, it is unheard of. Can you imagine somebody handing you a Switch and Nintendo goes, oh yeah, you can just throw our operating system out the door if you want. Run your own thing. Like, are you kidding me? And I saw somebody on the internet, and this caught a little bit of fire. Somebody on the internet when they were making those comparisons, and they have this video a picture side by side going, well, only one of these things can play Ocarina of Time. And I'm like, well, actually, bro, the one that can play Ocarina of Time in every single Zelda game, even beyond Nintendo, is this thing.
Which one of them can play Ocarina of Time ray traced?
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
But again, like for me, and I'm talking shit here. I bought the 512.
Dog, you and I would buy. I hear you. Go for it.
This is, for me, right? Aside from anything else, right? This is, for all intents and purposes, this is an Xbox handheld. The Xbox handheld that I always wanted. And listen.
And that's for some people, yes, 100%.
It is an Xbox handheld if Microsoft buys Steam, but we're not talking about that today.
They don't have to buy Steam for this to be an Xbox handheld. I bet you. Give it time. I bet you, because let's go into the geek direction a bit here. The OS is Steam OS 2.0, 3.0, based off of Arch Linux. Okay, we all know Android is based off of Linux. They can easily recompile the Android version of Game Pass and load it onto this device. But even beyond that, you have a browser, you can run it yourself. Even beyond that, they can actually be because of Proton, which Valve has been really working hard on, and of course, Windows themselves are also now opening the door to x86 apps and starting to do away with those UWP crap. Right? They themselves are going to start focusing on UWP.
Well, but see, that's a huge point for me, because I almost want to say I'm going to see what the Valve OS thing is like. I'm going to give it a shot, but to me, this just screams Windows 11.
Oh, bro!
Right?
You can dual boot it. You don't have to wipe Valve away. There's a world, because remember, this I don't want the Valve OS.
I'm gonna see how it is.
This is a PC. Do you know what you can do? You can boot it up, and at the top it'll say, "Welcome, Everborn. Which operating system would you like to run today?" You can press Steam and it'll go there. Or you can press, and you know how I know I can do that? Because I do that with my PC now. I can run Mac, I can run Linux, I can run Windows. I turn it on, it asks me, which one do you wish to run? It's a PC. You can do all of this with that. But imagine Nintendo letting you do that.
The thing is, like, it is a PC, but I want to treat it like it's a console, right?
And that's where they want it to go. Yes.
right?
They want it to be treated as a console, even though they know who they're dealing with. Steam, that is, Valve. They know their audience, so they got to open it up. Otherwise, folks won't follow them. But ultimately, you're right. They want to make it a console competitor.
Because again, the things that I love about console are the ease of use and all those things. I'll do my setup day one, but I still want to pick up, play. I don't want it to feel like a job. So for me, I am going to play this thing. And you know what's something about me? I've almost never played the Switch and it wasn't docked. I always play the Switch on the TV.
I have almost never played the Switch docked because it's such a waste of my 4K screen.
Right?
It's the pixels are this big. Like, get out of here with that crap. On the screen, it's perfect.
I will and I want the what you get from, suspended state, like you just power it on without all that stuff. And I don't want to deal with different OSs and things. No, it's there, but is it going to be there if I dual boot? Like, can I just get rid of SteamOS and...
So here's the deal, and this is getting real deep into tech talk, okay? A lot of this hardware is worked on. It's actually a very interesting kind of trail here, okay? So AMD worked very closely with Microsoft on the Zen 2 architecture. Why? Because they wanted to really help it be tied to DirectX Ultimate, right? They really wanted to be able to do that. And of course, Microsoft's plan was to make sure that, and for those who are not aware, DirectX Ultimate being was it 12 Ultimate being basically the building blocks of gaming moving forward, which Microsoft owns, creates, and open sources for the community to use. So most games are based off of that, or Vulkan, or there are a few others. But needless to say, since they work so much with AMD to make that happen, right? And we already know, PlayStation got some of that benefit, but not all of it because they didn't wait and all of it. So there's certain things that are missing in their flavor of Zen 2 that is still here in this flavor of Zen 2. So whether by
did you just say that the Steam Deck has more features than the PS5?
Stop it.
That's no. I'm just asking a question. Okay,
I said their version of Zen 2 has more of the Zen 2, more of a complete Zen 2 feature set than the PS5's version. Doesn't mean that the PS5 version is less than, because their engineers also did a lot of bespoke things on their processor as well. So it's different, not better or worse. This one lines up a lot more with the stock, and as such, super resolution. The AMD's version of DLSS.
Like I said. An Xbox handheld, but furthermore, the reason why I just want to put Windows
Xbox handheld, basically.
Pause. I want to put Windows 11 on it because of the Windows Store, but also not all most games on Steam were designed to run on Windows, right? Yes.
Well, it's not most games on Steam. Most games, period, are designed to run on Windows.
Yes. But I'm saying PC games.
Valve hates it, but they got no choice. Yes.
Right. And they're using some kind of emulation to run those games on this thing.
Proton. It's called Proton. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not emulation. I don't want to
deal with that, right?
But no. Hear me. It's not emulation. It is like deep level API conversion. It to the point where if you look and if I'm lying, it means they're lying, because when this thing comes out, we will see. But right now, if you go to their website where they're converting games, hey, Rodimus, how goes things? Let me put them up here real quick. If you go to their site and you check real quick, you'll see that they're now evaluating. Oh well, this one works at a platinum level, meaning it's native. You put it in, it runs, no overhead. This one works at a gold level. You put it in, and you may have to tweak a little bit, and then it'll work. Yeah, it is an emulator, but what they're doing to it supposedly, and remember, these specs are very tight, so they know the overhead, right? They themselves have promised that at release, they want every game in your library to be just native supported without any kind of it's plug and play day one.
And the road to hell the road to hell is paved with good intentions. What I'm saying is I don't have to worry about that if I put Windows 11 on it. True, I put Windows 11. I install Steam.
Here's the flip, though. But here's the flip of that. Windows 11 is I have Windows 11 running on my laptop right now. They're at least the developer versions that have come out so far. Windows 11, if even as best as they try and as good as they've gotten, Windows as an operating system tends to be bloated. And not the the version we'll throw on like a Raspberry Pi or the embedded version. No, the one that you will get, that you will be able to install on this thing, will be a bit bloated. And ideally, of course I'm going to dual boot. Of course I'm going to give it a try. Of course I am. But that overhead might be a problem, specifically Windows, because Windows runs that stuff constantly. And these guys built this specifically for this thing because they know they don't want those background processes killing your resources. So we'll have to see. But it's not a quick thing of, I just want to get rid of it. The idea that they themselves have come out and said, hey, you want to run Windows? Go ahead and do so. That needs to be commended.
Okay, so 78.
See, there you go.
Okay, but
and they say before release, they want to make sure that's 100%. And that's Valve.
I hear you, but there's another issue here, right? Mm-hmm. Because I need the Windows Store in order to take advantage of the Game Pass store.
Not anymore.
Because hold on a second. So if I just take this thing vanilla, I don't put Windows on it, right? If I want to do my cross progression stuff, yes, Microsoft releases all their games on Steam, but you have to buy them. Right. So if I want to play Halo Infinite, do I actually have to buy that because I'm using Steam OS, or do I want the Windows?
Well, no. He's saying
I know I can use Game Pass.
Yeah, Fuzzy's saying no, but he's I guess what Everborn is saying is the Xbox games that are released on Steam, even if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can't go to Steam right now and download it as part of your subscription. You will have to purchase it. I have a copy of Halo: The Master Chief Collection, the disc. It comes with Game Pass, and during the Steam sale, I bought it again because I love that game and I want to start doing some ray trace hacks on it. So you have to buy it on Steam. Now, that does bring up an interesting point, Everborn. There could be a conversation where when this thing releases day one, they go, and if you tie in your Steam account, your Game Pass account to this thing, all the games that are on Game Pass that are also on Steam then just become downloadable. Could be
now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas if you do that, because what the dream is, right? Is yes, I know that I can get xCloud on this thing, right?
Yes, of course.
But what this allows you to do, I don't think xCloud is suited for every game right now, right? But this would allow me to say, I can install the PC version of the game because all those games are on PC, right? And for the games like a Gears 5 or a Halo Infinite, I can have that as a native version running. It's going to be 720p, and that's just my mobile version. Oh yeah, right? Yeah. And then I'll play it on the Xbox when I'm off, and while I'm in the middle of the day at work, I'll play it on the PC, and it's just pick up and go, carry a save, cross progression.
That's their idea,
and that is what I need for this thing. That's why I bought the 512 version, because I have designs on installing Game Pass games natively to it and running them locally.
And you can do that. It's got 16 gigs of very fast RAM. It's got a Zen 2 processor that basically is one of the newest processors you can. Well, it was built in 2019, but most PCs today don't run that processor. It is a very fast chip. So it is a full-fledged, I say that full-fledged PC that just happens to be in a bulky PlayStation Switch case. What excites me about this is my purpose for this thing will be my ultimate emulation box. That's what this will be. When I'm done with it, I'm going to start from Coleco and work my way up.
Hold on. See, Beast Mode's agreeing with me. I like to highlight the people that agree with me.
Oh, of course. Might be easier to buy Valve. See, but the problem with buying Valve is they are a privately held company and they make so much hideous amounts of money that it would be much bigger than Bethesda, like much bigger. like much, and they don't get they don't have to disclose their value,
right?
Which is true. But you know what? They work with Microsoft so well that Microsoft can most likely get everything they need without having to break out the wallet like that.
Maybe, but then what if someone else buys them? What if Tencent buys them? What if whatever? So, but my point is this.
But Gabe is not that kind. Like, this is not a publicly traded company that he has no control over.
I completely understand that. What I'm saying is, even if they had to pay $20 billion for it, which that's what they would, and they just did that for an AI company, right? They paid $26 billion for LinkedIn. They could do it, so and this is not a publicly traded company, so it's less red tape that you would have to deal with, right? And you would
remember who we're talking about here, though. Remember, and you may be all on the Steam tip, but from a hardware perspective, if you've noticed, they don't necessarily care about the hardware anymore. They want you to have the hardware. They obviously want you to have that.
I'm not saying Microsoft buys this for the hardware. I'm saying they buy it just for Steam OPC in general? Gaming, right?
Okay.
They still have an enormous uphill battle for the Windows Store because they shit the bed already. Nobody trusts them. People would rather buy games on Steam,
come on. That whole people would rather buy games on Steam. To me, and this is a diversion that I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a minute here, real quick. Those people doing that, they are the same PCMR people who are absolutely ridiculous because on place they'll be the people who will look at the console heathens and go, "Oh, you guys are heathens," but refuse to install any other installer on their browser, like on their computer. It's a simple install. The games are exactly the same. Yeah, it's true. It's a different ecosystem or whatever, but people make such a big deal about it. I'm just like, bro, I have every installer of every game launcher on my PC. It's not a big deal. If I want to play, I play. You know, I don't get it. I've never understood why folks make such a big deal. Oh, if it's not on Steam, that it doesn't exist. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. It saved a bunch of bucks by installing the Epic Game Store. Why? Because now I can play the ray traced modded VR version of GTA 5 for free because it came with Epic Game Store. Why are people so hung up on their stupid launcher? It's just, I don't know. That's my soapbox. Forgive me.
But they are, right? And whatever they would have to pay to say that we're the number one place, like, because they want to get to the 3 billion gamers. For them they have a chance to be the market leader in console, but for them to be the market leader in console and PC and officially merge those things, that's it. Yeah. That's the end game. So if it is possible, and I'm not saying it's possible because look, it's a privately held company. Gabe doesn't need money. He's a billionaire.
He don't need for nobody. That man's good.
So, if he says they're not selling, they're not selling.
Sure, exactly. Right? It doesn't matter how much. Yeah.
So I get that, but I'm saying if it's a possibility, that's it.
What I will tell you is to agree with you. If there's any company that they would sell to, I'm so confident it would be Microsoft and anyone else. I'm just confident on that. If there's any company at all that Gabe would sell to, because he has a very tumultuous relationship with Microsoft. He used to work at Microsoft for many years. They're literally across the street from each other as far as the company is concerned. He wants to retire. Yes, Fuzzy, you're absolutely right. I know he wants to retire. He wants to go work on brain interfaces and whatnot for VR, So if that happens in a world where he's ready to give it up, he's going to give it to you know what I did.
So anyway. this is one to 1.6 teraflops, and 2.5 up to 3.5 gigahertz on the
that's right,
on the CPU. What does that translate to? Is that just like, and does it do upscaling when you use the dock? Does it upscale to 1080p?
Yes. Well, it based on what? Hey, and the man Somo backslaps in the spot. Welcome.
Turn up the PC slander now that he's here.
Don't start that slander. We're here for celebration, bro. Don't start that. And if you do, I will send an invite to Slow Mo to come here and defend himself.
hey, Slow Mo, you need some more greater symbols for that switch.
Yeah, you need a lot more greater symbols. You need a huge greater symbol that covers the entire screen for the switch. But no, don't let the T-flops be a thing. Okay, don't let it like. And of course, folks get in the Michigas.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, you know what you need to understand. What you need to understand is like it's a recipe, as I said before. It's not about what's the biggest, hardest thing you can do, because you don't want this machine to cost you $5,000, right? You want it to be exactly right for the screen at hand.
Speaking of exactly right and how much it costs, this is not a $400 machine.
No, it's not.
No one is buying the $400 version. No one should buy the $400 version, and you shouldn't advertise it as such. You should call this thing $529 because that's what it is.
See, on that, I will disagree with you a little bit because
you'll be wrong, but please continue.
I'll disagree with you a bit on that because, like you said, they're trying to position this thing as a console, right? It's not a console, but they want it to eventually be. So right now, the reason why those people like me are like, buy, is because this is as open-ended as it will get. If it gets better, if it gets cool, it'll get closed for the public Model 3 version, if you will. It'll become a real Switch competitor. Right now, it's a Switch competitor in visuals alone, really. Because when you can't hand this to your 10-year-old and go have fun, it's not the same.
It's a Switch competitor for the people that hate the Switch. Right, the people that think the Switch is underpowered, the people that want more of that, right? So,
but I guess
what's Beast saying here?
He's saying that he agrees with the recipe idea, but it would also cannibalize their idea. Overall, they made a custom APU. Yeah, it's not a custom APU. Yes, they said it is a custom APU, and I know it is a custom APU, but it's like this is not going to be only on this thing,
Here's the question: like, this is, why I consider this a console and not a PC? I can't upgrade the memory, right? I can't change out the hardware.
No,
it's
you're
a
absolutely right.
System, and then that's it. That's what you get.
Absolutely right. I don't disagree with you on
that.
Solves
and that's all the problems.
That is the console part of it. But the other side is the software and all that is so unusually open that it makes it different than the PC because than the console. Do you know how much work it takes me to put a different front end on a console? It requires a lot of hacking, sometimes some soldering guns. You know what I'm saying? This thing is like, you want to do it, plug the thing in, have at it. That's very PC centric. They are trying to bridge the gap. Eventually, they will get more closed ecosystem like a console. But the reason why you can't say, oh, this is not a $400 item is at that base level, even though you know what you're looking at when you see eMMC storage and you go, it's still faster than its competitor, which is the Switch at $300 at that base version. You know what I'm saying?
But again, the people they're selling this to, they all know what that eMMC
Of course.
So
that's what I'm saying. This is a Model S. Oh, come on. They want the headline. Hey, they're selling a full-fledged PC for $400, which is what they're doing, because you're still getting that fast ass DDR5 RAM, 16 gigs. You're not getting 8. You're not getting lesser RAM. The only corners they're cutting,
more memory than the Series S.
Exactly. The only corners they're cutting right now is a little bit in the storage area. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And
I'm fine. I got the 512. I'm totally fine. I'm just saying, call it what it is. People are going to advertise it as $399, and it's not really $399.
They are seriously trying to bridge the gap. They're trying to bridge the gap, and eventually they will.
Slow-Mo made an amazing point that it can do all those things, and like I said, for me, this is a straight-up Xbox handheld that I always wanted them to make. That's what it is. That's how I'm approaching it. And
do you know why I'm so excited about this
saves
thing?
Make it
I'm
going to
load so many Dreamcast games on this thing. I'm going to load all the I think my Retroid Pocket 2 will be retired. All of that stuff will just go straight. It is the ultimate emulation device.
You know what's the first game I'm putting on it?
What's that?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. The greatest video game ever made of all time, hands down. I will not be taking any questions.
No one's asking you to take.
Okay, good.
You can run Breath of the Wild fully ray traced on this thing through emulation, but still you can.
Well, so two things I want to bring up. Beast Mode said earlier that it's out of the box upscaling, the same thing that the Switch does, not DLSS. However, but the DLSS will be on a per game basis based on whatever the game is on PC, whether they support that or not.
That's right. Yeah.
Now,
remember, this is not DLSS. This is, I keep forgetting their version of it.
Super resolution.
So stupid. The super resolution version. Yeah, that will be game for game, but it supports such a wide swath that it supports this as well. So even that will help in the frame rate department and in all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are benefits here to this device.
This is a way for me, because this is what I say about this thing all the time. I say this, like, for the most part, if I game, I believe it's going to be in my living room, right? This is a way with the dock and the upscaling, and hopefully the games that have FSR. This is a way for me to do PC gaming in the living room. That's just what that, and it's like I said, the Xbox handheld that I will just pick up and go with, but I don't go nowhere, so I don't really need a mobile device. That's the thing. When I leave, I'm driving to some place, right? I don't. No,
I hear you. I absolutely hear you. See, and that's why when folks are so focused on the gaming aspect of this, I'm like, okay, this is one more device that I will own that can do what my other stuff can do. I have many devices that can do this. You know, I do. This thing is like my enjoyment of this thing. I completely know where it'll fit in my. This is my completely like my tinkering device. You know, I will make this the ultimate emulation device with a beautiful custom UI front end that will like have you picking which platform do you wish to play, and then you know that I like tweaking and doing stuff like that. I have retro pies that I've built that do pretty much the same thing. You know, that's why I'm enjoying this device. But again, I will also be running NVIDIA's streaming service. That I'll try on this thing. Obviously, you'll try Game Pass on this thing. I'll be installing this Epic Game Store. The Epic Game Store alone, free games. I have almost 300 games for free on the Epic Game Store that I can all play on this little teeny tiny thing.
Now, slow-mo. How would I install Game Pass on this if I wanted to run the games natively? Does this require me?
It requires you to run a PC.
If you want to
install Game Pass natively on this device, in its current announcement, it will require you to remove. Well, I wouldn't say remove. You could probably dual boot PC, Windows, and the Steam OS. And as such,
I don't know why I haven't said this yet.
Okay,
but this is the rebirth of the Dreamcast.
Of course. Oh, and it's not even that. Didn't you just hear me say this is my ultimate Dreamcast device? Not even that.
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. But
yeah, this is the ultimate Dreamcast device. And you asked what King David thought. He saw this thing and he went, not since the NVIDIA Shield, the handheld. And I think even Linus said that on his show. The handheld, you know, have we had a handheld device that punches above its weight to this capacity? Because that was the last device that was unusually capable. Not the Shield TV that eventually replaced it, but that handheld. It was running Android, a custom version, but at the time they were also running that Tegra chip, which is basically Switch. So they were able to do a lot more than what a normal handheld could do at that time. You know, this device is the last. I've still been like on eBay trying to find my old NVIDIA Shield, trying to buy another one, the clamshell open one. This replaces that. Ultimate emulation device, you know, dual booting Windows 10. That's right. You know, yes, exactly what he's saying. I'm not surprised if between now and the time that thing releases, that Phil makes that unnecessary. I bet. Want to bet? I bet. You know, because a lot of the games, not all, but a lot of those games are on Steam already. But all he has to do is make a deal with Phil to then let you install. Because remember, there are some games on Steam right now that when you log into it, you can also log into your Xbox account and start achievements and all of that. All they got to do, not all they got to do, but it's an agreement that they'll have to make, basically bringing Game Pass compatible apps, games that are already compatible, that are like for like on Game Pass, allowing the Game Pass subscriber to then access it for free on Steam. Obviously, that would mean there would be back-end conversations of money changing hands and all that, because then a consumer like me wouldn't be buying Halo MCC again. It would just be available on Steam because I have a Game Pass subscription. But doing that would solve this whole Windows problem.
It would solve it for me, but I wonder, does Gabe want that?
Gabe is beyond all this. Gabe is trying to button all the stuff up. He wants to set this device up based on, and I'm not in the man's head. Let me preface by saying that, but based on I don't know if you saw McCaffrey had an interview with him right after during this whole announcement, and they went all the way through the pricing and the hardware specs and all that. Based on what he is saying, like you're saying, this is the Model S. They're trying to bridge the gap and eventually get it to Switch status, and he's ready to hand it off. I'm not sure he's in an adversarial stance when it comes to all this. He wants to work with them. Look at what did you see what Phil said as soon as nobody else said anything? Did you hear Nintendo go, "Hey, congratulations to the guys"? Oh, did you hear PlayStation? No. The only person
that came out Nintendo wasn't going to say congratulations.
Sure, but the only person, and come on, what's the first thing the entire community said when this thing came out? Oh, Game Pass device. Oh, and then Phil comes out and goes, "Oh, I'm looking forward to." Come on, man.
No, I am sure that Phil would love to get the Game Pass app in Steam.
And they got
what cash. I'm saying is, the only way I see that happening is if they buy Steam. I don't know that.
Look. You're asking.
I don't know if Valve.
You're asking why would Valve want that? I'll tell you why Valve wants that. Because if Valve doesn't let them do that, then those of us who get this will uninstall SteamOS and install Windows. They want us to keep using SteamOS. That's where they want you to be. They want you to be there. So if Phil allows them to just keep, if they allow Phil to just keep you in that same OS and still just download the games, still using that Linux variant and still use it, Valve wants you to stay in their OS. And Microsoft doesn't care. They don't want you to install this. They just want you in Game Pass. So why wouldn't they want that? That's a perfect solution.
I mean,
they don't want you to uninstall SteamOS. Otherwise, it would have came empty, or came with both, or came with, hey, which one do you want? They want you to stay in Steam OS. And the only way for a lot of us power users to stay in Steam OS is if we can run Windows games, Xbox games natively without having to.
Well, okay, so there's another thing to think about, right? Mm-hmm. With bringing Game Pass to Steam, right? Mm-hmm. I think that most people on Xbox are signing up for Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not at the critical mass yet of the 50, 100 million Game Pass subs yet, right? So they are subsidizing the loss of sales on console with PC and putting it on Steam. So do they actually want these games on Steam where, almost every week there's some sort of Microsoft game in the top 10 selling, whether it's Sea of Thieves or Master Chief Collection or Forza or whatever else. So putting it in, if putting it in Steam takes away that way of getting those sales, I don't know that they want to do that.
Well, but again, at the end of the day, yes, they're losing hardware sales, right? But that's been part of their plan from jump, right? Let's assume Phil and team heard about this maybe 5-6 months ago, right? Because they're always part of the conversation when these things are happening, right? Let's assume they heard about this a few months ago, right? People have been rumoring that Series V for God knows how long, with that beautiful rendition that never will be made. That clamshell looking thing that they went, oh, it's a Series V, the portable Xbox. Microsoft does not want more hardware. They want, their ultimate goal is to get you into Game Pass, right? If you have a fridge that can play Game Pass, they'll let you keep that fridge. They don't want to build a new one. That's why your phone's an option. That's why your PC's an option. Yes, they know that more devices means more options. So they're okay. Why do you think they want, exclusivity? It is going to be where Game Pass lives. They didn't say it's going to be in the Xbox ecosystem. No, they said it's going to be where Game Pass lives. So that tells you they want to make sure Game Pass becomes like Netflix. Everywhere there's hardware. Everywhere there's hardware that can support it, They want it there. And on the flip, why does Valve want this? Because they know they've made an open box that you can install Windows on. If a bunch of folks come grab this device, rip out SteamOS and install Windows, it doesn't benefit them. They're trying to tweak this device and then make their Model 3 version. They want telemetry from us continuing to use SteamOS. So even though we have that option, it is in their best interest to keep us in SteamOS.
I think another benefit of allowing Game Pass in there natively is to say, one, like you said, right? If Game Pass is there natively, I don't need to install Windows.
Then you don't need to do that. Yes. And of course, Windows has overhead. It may make this thing run a little slower.
However,
you don't know.
Even if you allow it on normal PCs, not these mobile things.
Yep.
If Game Pass is there, it will bring people to use Steam as their launcher. And
That's
now when I'm in Steam and I'm playing my Game Pass games there,
you can see
I will
Steam
also
games
go
too.
Yes, and I will go and buy those Steam games like that.
And of course, this device is uniquely qualified. And I say that because as a guy who's used this thing for quite some time, they are really, really working hard to try and bridge that PC mouse versus controller gap. They haven't got, this was close, but the learning curve was a little high. That's why you looked at me and you went, well, what's with those controls and why they're so high? I really think they're trying really hard to bridge that gap. So this small device can both be the RTS device, it can be any specific console, PC specific game. This thing can do it, and be comfortable in its input use. Will it work? This works after some training. There are YouTube sites dedicated to how to tweak, but this is the ultimate custom, and they're getting closer and closer.
Do they start selling more of those since they have with the dock, or they just
they don't have the dock available yet? They don't even have the dock available yet. All you see, and that's a funny comment. Yeah, they'll be selling separately when it releases. Look, if you look at the videos, I know what this is. They were like, "Yo, did you see that Switch OLED? That thing's a POS. Get this thing out there. We don't have the hardware ready, sir. Doesn't matter. We don't have the dock ready, sir. Doesn't matter. Bring that thing out today. Let's show the people today." That's what this was. Their ducks weren't 100% in a row. That's why they keep going. Every video they show, they keep going, final hardware. Not, they're really, they struck when the iron was hot. And that iron was hot right when the Switch OLED came out and it wasn't a Pro. And they were like, hey, we have this unique opportunity. And that's the reason why a few of the ducks aren't in a row.
But now, so Slow-Mo says they don't bother with Game Pass because the Microsoft Store sucks. Doesn't Windows 11 change that? Because they allow these games to just be the Steam version, so to speak, as x86?
Slow-Mo, the reason why this changes the game is because they've already started pushing in that direction, but they're giving up UWP, the bundled game. And quick history lesson: UWP is Microsoft's attempt to make their apps like Mac, where it's all self-contained. But of course, unlike Mac, Microsoft had apps that had history, and people like to mod things, and people like to go into the DLLs.
Oh my God! Don't get me started with that shit. Every time,
let me explain. Get off your soapbox for a moment.
Okay, all right.
Get off your soapbox for a moment.
Okay.
But people kept dissing Windows for, why is it that I uninstall something and it always leaves residual? So in their infinite wisdom, they thought, people don't like this. They want that easy peasy. It's uninstalled. It's all gone. So let's bundle our apps in a way that it starts and ends with this UWP framework one app. But of course, when they did that, they did what they did from 360 to Xbox One, which is 360 had that robust UI, and then Xbox One shows up and you can't party chat anymore. So they create the UWP apps and they strip out a bunch of the stuff that makes this thing useful, right? And of course, they want UWP to be available everywhere and become the new standard. Nobody likes it because you can't mod it, you can't do this, so nobody adopts it. Not even Steam, which is the #1 game store, right? So what they've done, long story short, is, we made a mistake. They're going back to the standard app framework in Windows 11. So if you install Windows 11, you'll get the Microsoft App Store with basically Steam level game, like games that look and run like Steam. You can access the INI files just like you could before. And actually, I know this is true because even in the beta version of Windows 11 today, you can download like OBS Studio. You couldn't do that before because OBS Studio is an x86 app. You know what I mean? In the Microsoft Store.
Okay, can I soapbox now, please?
Please, soapbox.
I think the problem with Microsoft is that they they have two problems. They miss things and then they overcorrect, right? And then they have this weird jealousy of Apple, which I don't know why, right? Yep. And then they'll try to chase what Apple's doing. And that whole Terry Myerson, Steven Stanofsky era of Microsoft, well documented. They took away the whole reason people use Windows is because it's open and free and you can do anything. And they're like, let's lock it down like Apple, right? There's a reason that Windows has the market share it has versus Apple having the market share.
But you understand. So look, they want the mind share, not the market share. They have the market share. They've had it for a long time. You know, we can have deep. You want to have deep tech talk? The security, but through obscurity thing that Mac does is insane. Most Mac users out there probably got spyware on their machines, and they'll never know it because Macs never get BS. It's always out there. But that's not neither here nor there. They have the market share.
The Mac doesn't give you error messages and fails gracefully, so you think it's still working. But anyway, my point is, right, you cannot take away the things that make
that made them great, of course,
right? And that's the reason people use it. And so the whole UWP thing is them walking in, one, thinking that they still had it like they had it, where they could just tell developers what to do. You don't got it like that no more. You know what?
I hear you.
But they've now sort of adopted this sort of flowing like water thing where we're going to go where people are. We'll be in the background, and before you know it, all of the services that you use, we just own those things in the background. That's what GitHub was about, right? Yes. And Visual Studio Code is amazing. Anybody that's not using that,
I'm a novice programmer. I was able to use Visual Studio to literally build a game.
I'm saying Visual Studio Code, not regular Visual. Visual Studio is amazing. It's way better than Eclipse. But I'm saying Visual Studio Code
specifically. Yeah. I was novice. I was able to build my thing, use Visual Studio, like dev mode my console and port it over there. And this is me in the living room playing a game I built. I was so gleeful that day. Needless to say, what the pushback I have on you just a teeny tiny bit is, remember, you're talking about Microsoft like, they did this, they did that. A lot of those people with those bad ideas are gone. As soon as Satya Nadella showed up, the world switched. Their world switched. Their Microsoft in name alone.
We need to be very clear because I have a name.
PlayStation's different with Jim Ryan. Microsoft is different with Satya Nadella. You know what I'm saying?
I need to be very clear because a lot of people don't understand. Like we have a nickname for Satya Nadella, and his name we call him Eddie Scissors, right?
Okay.
Be very clear. All the flowery language from that dude, because most times he talks, he doesn't say anything. Yep. If something is not working, he gonna cut that.
Like, he was ready to cut Windows. He was ready to cut Windows itself. Yeah,
he might still do that.
You had to justify Windows' existence when he first showed up. We noticed.
Listen, he's the one who killed Windows Phone. A platform that is very near and dear to me. He is the one who killed Mixer.
He was
right. He is the one who killed. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong. Right?
He's not in his feelings about it. He knows what needs to be done.
This is what I'm saying. The man is a predator, not like a cyborg, right? Like he will shut some shit down. And the fact that Xbox is still here is only a testament to what Phil did.
That's right.
And he sat Phil down and he told him tell me why Xbox exists, and Phil laid out this plan. And people ask me, why am I rooting for Microsoft, right? Like like this plan that they're putting together and how all these pieces are connecting, cloud saves to backwards compatibility to Game Pass to FPS boost, all the things they're doing.
Core competencies, baby.
The PC, merging PC and console, blurring those lines. All of those things are all designed together for this one idea to sort of change the entire landscape of gaming. Right? And I get so frustrated. This doesn't mean that they don't need to put out games. They need to put out games. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying what they are attempting to do is
revolutionary.
Right. And we can
and most people don't see it happening
until it's too late, or they push back on it because it's something new and people don't like change. Right. And that to me is the thing that Phil needs to be commended for, because
real
if
quick,
this whole
Fuzzy
shit don't work out,
just drop bars real quick, and it has me thinking of DJ Quick. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm sorry, continue. Go ahead.
No, but and people are so caught up on the traditional release model that they push back because they see the land shifting from under them, right? That's and in the landscape today, first of all, we can talk about why people get this attachment to brands. I'm not necessarily attached to a brand. I'm attached to a strategy that I would like to see come into fruition. So I'm rooting for
that. I root for you. That's right.
Right. Yeah. But people see this thing changing and they're like, no, don't. Like, there's people fighting right now against Sony putting their games on PC. In what world does it make sense not to put
in what world is that a bad thing? Like, that's insane. Oh, it devalues the PlayStation. Who gives a crap about the PlayStation? All you care about is the game. Play your game. Enjoy your game.
But again, it is because that old world makes sense to them, right? So they will fight against a service that is in their benefit. They will fight against a game coming to PC. Doesn't affect them at all. It will even help them if they have a nice PC, right?
Yep.
All of these things is this sea change, and they just want it to stay the same.
Of course. But you know what? They won't win whether they like it or not. And when it's all said and done, they will go, "Oh, this wasn't that bad," and then move on and fight about something else. That's how it's going to
go. They'll say that when they see that their sort of platform does the same thing, because this is just the way that the industry is going.
All of this is also going to ultimately be good for PlayStation. It's going to be good. It will push competitors in more bold directions, because hey, they need to be pushed in order to keep competing, and I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to seeing.
And the reason Phil was able to convince Satya, because Satya came up in Microsoft. He's not a new dude who just came to the company. Been there for 20, 30
years.
As
has Phil been, right? So they know the historical.
But Satya came up on the cloud side of things, right? And he made Azure integral to what he was doing with Xbox, and that is speaking Satya's language.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And that in and of itself is part of the reason that Xbox is still around, because it could have been gone with anything. But anyway, I'm done. 100%. I'm done.
No, I hear you. And truth be told, I don't disagree on any of your points. I completely agree. The only thing that I hope people try to, I know it's difficult, but I know the only thing I hope people try to disconnect is you put Microsoft in your head and then you keep piling on. But the Microsoft that made bad OSs is not the same. Like, it's the same in name alone. Just like the PlayStation that you used to love back in the day, seats have changed. So you have to kind of come to it with new eyes and judge it newly, rather than, hey, historically they've been good, so they're going to be good now. The leaders have changed. Things are different now. So assuming they're going to go in the same direction, or they're going to be as predatory as they used to be, or whatever, all that's different now. I get that they've been the big dog breaking things, but now in Satya Nadella's world, they are they walk soft. They carry the big stick. They're very careful about mind share.
Satya is like Xerxes, right? They come into it.
You can go back to your world.
We just want bread and water when we're in town. right?
That's right.
It.
Yeah,
you can doing what you do.
You can continue to lead your locals.
There's no reason for this to get hostile. Just pay us tribute.
That's right. That's all we want.
That's it.
Nothing
the
more.
sun never sets on the empire of Xerxes. But
no, but you're absolutely right. But ultimately, for consumers, this is the best of what you want. This is what you want, because it pushes their competitors in directions that forces them to respond.
Now,
like this world.
I want a prediction from you, right?
I see you like that Beast Mode. Seriously, before you give me the prediction, Beast Mode. The reason why I say that real quick is because they don't want another. Oh, let's go sit in front of the EU and have them try to break us up again. So instead of walking around with their "Hey, we're $1 trillion company," they walk and they always have that. Oh, well, yeah, my bad. $2 trillion.
They could lose half their value and still be $1 trillion company.
That's right.
Think about that.
Yes. And they walk around now and they promote the underdog mentality, even though they are the least underdog of companies. But somehow they're in any environment, they're like, oh, we just want to help everybody.
But a lot of this is because they needed to change their images. They put out a lot of amazing products that went nowhere. Windows Phone, specifically because they didn't have mindshare. It wasn't because it wasn't because of the product.
They
Windows
get
Phone
first,
is better than Android. I said
yes, it is. Well, right? at its core, in the beginning, it was. Windows has dropped it. Android has matured. See, and that's another thing. They at some point decide, oh, we don't have the platform anymore, so we now must have to partner with the platform, right? So now you see Windows take a flavor of Microsoft take a flavor of Android and try and tweak it for Microsoft's purpose. I hope they talk about that eventually and go back to their own core competencies.
That's what I want. That's what I want to talk about for a second. Because Pixel, I know you're in the chat, and you have a Surface Duo. I have a Surface Duo.
I love that thing. I will never buy it.
Which I gave to my son, and he cracked the screen, and there's no place to fix it. Thank you, son.
Cracked the screen. You gave
because he had. I don't want to get into it. He lost it. He messed up his phone, and I was waiting for the new one to come in, and I let him. That
phone is the phone equivalent of this thing. Power uses stuff, not meant for normal people.
I know. But I was waiting for his new phone to come in, so I let him put his SIM card in it because I had it laying around.
You let him use his grubby hands on it, and he messed it up. Yo, he's still got the 920. I love that. Hey,
remember the 1020 with the big camera?
Hell yeah.
Okay,
I love that.
But
I have my Zune HD here, which has the basis of that OS. Anyway,
Jez wrote an article this week about the Surface Duo, which it's amazing hardware that is funny enough held back by the software.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is not a knock on Android or whatever, even though I don't like Android. It is that they were contorting the OS, and it's still on Android 10. It's not even Android 11. They were contorting the OS to do things that it was not designed to do.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
And that as much polish as they put on it, it's still made for a janky experience. This is
what you know about the WinCE G1000? Oh my god, easy. I remember that. Good for you, man. That's amazing.
So they're contorting the OS to do something it's not supposed to do, and then you have these gimped experiences for it, and it would almost be better if they had an OS that could just run on that phone, right? And for me, I wonder, right? Could you make? They canceled the Surface Neo. That's never coming. That was the 10-inch version of the Duo.
Yeah,
and that's partly because they canceled Windows 10X and they put those ideas into Windows 11. So what I am wondering, they're making their custom APUs, right?
Yep.
Should they, and could they even make a Surface? Listen, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like own that, right? PWDs
take the
are
Xbox UI. They still have the same kernel as your standard Windows. Take that Xbox UI, strip the gaming modes out of it, and make a phone thing out of it.
No,
they have an app store. They have all that already.
I am saying, put Windows 11 on that bitch.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like
right?
Windows, Xbox's OS is basically a flavor of Windows.
Your store is Windows 11 with the phone launcher, right? You're using the Windows Store to install all these PC apps, and you're running Windows on ARM, right? And
which has that layer problem, has that emulation layer problem. Because if you run Windows on ARM natively, there are no apps available for it.
I understand, but they're getting better with that emulation, right? I don't know.
But once they get better with the emulation, then the question becomes, will the devs support it? Even without the emulation, devs don't support Windows.
The problem is Windows on ARM doesn't officially yet support the x64 apps. It's only the Win32, right? Once they get x64, you can run everything there. And the dark horse here is you also have Windows 365. And you also have xCloud.
Yeah, their version of VDI.
Yes, they could make something that is native and fully takes advantage of the things that they try to fork into Android. Or do you think they should just continue with Android and use that app store?
Oh, no. You're absolutely.
What's your take?
Bro,
at the end of the chat, I want to know what the chat thinks too. Should they continue with Android, or should they just say we're putting Windows on this?
That's right.
And for anything that you can't handle, anything you can't handle,
basically is you're right. It's 100%. Like
I like to hear that. I like the sound of that.
The problem here is they want their own platform. They've wanted their own platform for a long time. They have Windows. They want another one because platforms build, right? They've been fighting against iOS for a long time. Then they realized, oh, we can't fight them anymore. They quit their Windows business, their phone business. And then they had to kowtow to Android and iOS. iOS is super restrictive, right? Android is open, but it lacks so many features that they have to custom everything. And when you custom everything, it makes upgrading the OS and security updates and all that ridiculously long and expensive because you have to let Google release the bits, and then you have to customize the bits. That's the reason why Samsung has been so slow with their updates.
Put that comment from Pixel on the screen because I didn't even think about that. What's up, Gerald Mac?
Before I do, Gerald Mac, thank you so much for being here, bro. We appreciate you. And yes, Pixel.
This is an amazing point. This is it. Yep. I'm not even asking the question anymore. They should just put Windows 11 on it. It's gonna run Android apps.
But you know how it runs Windows Android apps.
Well,
right?
Not natively.
It runs it in this weird Intel Bridge technology, and it's not even running the regular Google apps. It's running it through Amazon's Windows App Store.
No, right.
But you can also sideload.
They can bring on more app stores. Is what I'm saying.
True, they can. Yes, they can.
And let's be very clear. There's a reason all of these antitrust cases are coming up against Google right now for how they do things and how they bundle Google services. And they say if you want the App Store, you also got to take Gmail and you also got to take Chrome.
That's
and
the reason why.
That, right? Yeah. Once that goes away, it is entirely possible, right, that they can get Windows 11 to officially support just the Google Play Store.
Of course, because even in this current world, you can sideload. Like in Windows 11, when Android comes out, if you don't want the Amazon experience, you can still sideload Google core apps onto it.
But you got to know how to do that, right? I'm talking about the tyranny of the default, and they need that app store in there by default.
From power user mode, so that's why I understand. No, but you're absolutely right. There is a future happening here. There's a plan in place here that slowly but surely is working its way out, and some of us are seeing it and others are just oblivious to what's about to happen. I think that the world in 2-3 years, will for Microsoft and how we interface with them will be entirely different than what we see now. Both on the Netflix of gaming perspective and Windows and all of that. They're really priming to change the game in a different direction. So let's rein this a little bit back more in.
And Pixel, yes, we do got to invite you one of these days.
For sure. 100%. I was actually gonna reach him out on the back end of the DMs, and we'll have that conversation. So Pixel, look out for that. We'll definitely do that. Let's rein this back in because I kind of want to still we're about a buck and a half, and I want to hit a few other spots. So, long story short, Is Windows. Yeah, it's very true. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Win by inclusion. Okay.
That's very true.
Honestly, though, I think Windows Phone would have been more successful if they didn't call it Windows. They're too afraid to get away from that name, and Windows had a stink on it at the time.
Yes. That was the old Microsoft.
They didn't go. They needed to go full.
That was the kin Microsoft. Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
They needed to go full Kojima.
No. Don't say that, man. Oh, you never go
with the Windows Phone.
Anyway, so to round this conversation out, back to the Steam Deck, I am so excited for this thing. I'm looking forward to, like, I will use it for what they're saying it's meant to be used for, and I will use this for a lot of what is not.
And then you're gonna turn into Agatha Harkness and be like,
you know.
Okay, but we need to talk about one other thing before we switch off.
Please.
Deck, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The horrible, terrible, no good pre-order process. Tell me what your experience was like.
Okay. First off, the horrible, terrible name, and then the horrible, terrible pre-order process. It has the worst SEO. You type it into Google, and it autocorrects and adds the R right there, because the Stream Deck is a thing that everybody knows forever. When will what's his name? What's the name of that company? When will they sue? They should.
Steam Labs?
No. What's the name? Who makes Stream Deck? Oh God.
Doesn't matter.
It's basically the company for streamers. Like they make a bunch of streamer YouTube streamer Elgato. Yes.
There's actually some stuff that I want to get from them. I'm getting.
Yes,
they have a good camera too that I might.
Yep, they have a really decent camera. I'm thinking about upgrading to the mic. But yes, Streamlab Elgato should be like on the phone with their lawyers right now. And even their Stream Deck, if you look at the Stream Deck, it's a black device with a screen on it that's got buttons on this. Like, it is.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Steam has been out there for a while. Do they? And Elgato
but
doesn't own the word deck.
It's a little ridiculous. They could have done. People talk about the Game Boy.
I saw that.
Stuff like that. But the Steam Deck. Come on, man. Y'all have been around here. You know better. You could have done better. Let's move on to the wonderful, order process. Look, it's a low bar, very low bar, but it was better than the console purchase process.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Explain why.
It was better than buying an Xbox. It was better than buying a PlayStation.
In spirit, it was, but in the letter.
Yeah. Oh! Your level of frustration was just the same on both accounts. I remember sitting here going, "Mother."
Yeah, but you got yours at like 11:04. I got mine or 1:04. I got mine at like 3:00.
Yeah, I know.
Steam buddy.
And then of course, slow-mo's on the internet going, I don't know why people complaining. I was buying a game and I just saw it and I hit buy and it was this. I'm like, mother.
But guess what? Now I want to shout out to Wilmy Hood, the one and only, right?
Yes, sir.
The master of the meme, right?
Indeed.
He is the one who, because COG was having issues too, and I saw him reply to COG that
he's the one that asked him to put the games in the thing.
Buy a game and then add a game to the cart and add the pre-order to the cart, and then it will just go through, because whatever they're doing on the game side, that works fine. But it's they were doing some special jujitsu magic for the $5 pre-order, and that's the thing that was messing thing up. Because what was happening to me, I was trying for an hour. My payment information is already saved in Steam. I've been a Steam customer for many, many years. I opened my first Steam account when the first Oculus came out. That's when I made my Steam account, and I may have had it before.
I had a little earlier than that, but yes,
right. So, what's it called? So then my payment save, I clicked buy. First of all, it completely didn't work on mobile, like at all.
Actually, believe it or not, at the end, a lot of people were having better luck on mobile than they were on desktop.
I clicked the button on mobile, nothing happened. So I went to PC, right? And I opened it on Chrome, wasn't working, and then I opened it in Steam itself and just searched for Steam Deck. And then I go to buy it, and it says your payment failed to initialize. Some error. Payment failed to initialize.
Yep.
And then it says, please try again. So I try again, and then I try again, and I try again, and I'm trying for like 45 minutes, and then it finally goes through, right? This is trying back and forth between the Chrome and the Steam app itself, and I'm still trying on mobile, never works.
Okay.
Then it finally goes through, and it gets to the next screen, and it says, confirm your purchase. And then when I click confirm your purchase, it says, sorry, hey, looks like you've been trying to purchase this item multiple times. Please wait for some time and try again.
I do recall. Yep.
And then for another hour, it's either failing to initialize or saying that I've been trying to buy multiple times. Right? So you couldn't process my payment, told me to keep trying again. I try again, and now you say I tried too many times.
Yep.
Right. But then I saw this thing from Wilmy and I tried it and it worked the first time, just like that. No issues.
Yep.
I actually wanted the 256, but in the browser, in the Chrome browser, I had 512 because I was like,
you just took what you got. Okay.
So I just that's the one that was there and that was the one that worked. So I went with that. So I'm getting the 512 and it worked. So what was everybody else's experience like? What was your experience?
Yeah, please put in the chat if you were able to get one, if you want one, let us know how you feel about it. I'm super excited about this thing. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it. I too had a hell of a time trying to buy this thing. My experience, similar to yours, got to that initializing phase. But I was using a credit card. I don't know if that changes the equation of credit card versus PayPal, but I just kept hitting next.
I tried credit card as well. I just didn't share it because it has like the credit card number on the screen.
Of course.
I tried both.
Like I just kept hitting the button until eventually the site crashed, and I was like, oh no! And then I checked my email, and boom, I have an email confirmation. I was like, okay, never mind. I never actually saw it on Steam that said, oh yeah, you purchased it. But I got the full official Steam email saying there, and now when I go to my Steam account, it says cancel reservation. I'm like, hell, dog. let me take my hand off of that.
Let me see that right now.
Oh yeah, if you go into Steam right now and you go to the Steam Deck page, it should show that the reservation is there, and you can't. It'll ask you if you wish to cancel. Which, pro tip, don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does say that. It does say that.
There you go. So yes, but now, we can all agree it was a shit show.
If you order now, it says Q2 2022.
That's right. Yeah. So and for the few who were able to, that's unfortunate that Beast Mode wasn't able to get it. It's not in his region yet. Where are you from, by the way? Let us know. I would love to know whereabouts you are right now. One thing about those who were able to pre-order, that's not the end of the line. There's fine print to be read there. At some point within now and the release window, an email will come and ask you to confirm your order. If you do not take action on that email, what you will be doing is canceling your order. India, unfortunate. Oh, that's just unfortunate. They should definitely be letting you guys jump in here. There's a lot of gamers out there. I'm surprised that they haven't. I'm sure that as it matures, they will definitely be opening it up to more folks. So yeah, this has been our semi-gush session, because there's still some unknowns, and all that, and I'll be there.
If I miss that email, okay, wait, go to your Steam right now. Go to Steam right now and tell me what it says for your expected delivery, because mine says, because I had to wait 3 hours to get it, your expected order availability.
That's the thing. The thing. I don't think the button at the bottom that you see there is specifically to you. It is the general availability. As the email said, as the fine print said, that reservation is not to reserve the device. It's to reserve your place in line to order the device. So everything you see after that, seeing expected order availability Q2 2022, that's when they'll have the devices available after all of their already pre-ordered reservations have been met. So if you just want one, at this point, it looks like Q2 2022 is when you're going to just be able to come here and buy one. But those who have pre-ordered, those who have reserved, I suspect we'll get ours earlier. I still think you will see yours, and I'll see my. Well, I don't know about you, since you were about an hour after me.
Damn, man.
I still suspect that most of us will see
you on your own, dog.
You might not see it. I don't know. But then again, the release date is like what, December? So between 2021 and 2022, it'll be a few months. You know what I'm saying? So there will be a small amount of time there between that time where, you know, some people will be out here pimping with their webcams on playing these games, while others are just being jealous. That's gonna happen. Maybe a month or two, but I suspect that's gonna be happening.
What's crazy about all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Between all the businesses I'm trying to run and all the things initiatives I'm trying to get on the ground, off the ground, I barely have time to game more than a couple of hours a week right now.
As do I. Yeah.
The fuck am I gonna be able to play this?
I'll tell you.
It don't matter.
I'll tell you. You want me to tell you? Do you work from home right now, right?
Yes, I do.
But at some point you'll be back in the office, right?
Oh, slow down. Easy.
At some point, if you lose,
I'm very marketable right now.
Sure. All I'm saying
is, try to
you know where I play? Where you'll play this? You'll play this on the highway when you turn on auto drive on your Tesla Model 3. While it's doing the work for you, you'll turn this on and you'll get a quick game of whatever the hell you're trying to play. You know, like I keep harping on, this device is not a Switch competitor today. It is a power user's tinkering tool, hoping to eventually become a Switch competitor. So this specific device will be useful to those who have those ideas. If you just want to use it as, my mobile console or my mobile PC, those folks who see the value in this have a capable PC, you know? And unless you're a high school student or a college student or something, and you do a lot of commuting or a lot of bus rides or a lot of train rides, that's when this is useful for them. But that's also later down the line when they've streamlined it a bit more. Now, it's more for me than for anybody else.
Yeah, Pixel. I got to try that. I've been meaning to bring the Xbox controller in the car to try. To try Game Pass.
See, I have Game Pass running. I tried Game Pass on Switch. I was this close to getting it. There's a little bit of a backwards way of getting a browser on that thing, and it loaded. I saw the screen. I saw the little jet, the blue jet, the green jet that's about to go off when you're about to play your Game Pass game. I was like, and then it didn't work. So yes, we're still on that mission of trying to get Game Pass everywhere else. But there is a world where this will play a lot of. This will be, and I think I heard this on I was watching Jeff Grubb's show. This will be the ultimate indie device for years and years and years to come, even after the AAA games leave this thing. Because yes, you can't upgrade the GPUs and things like that, right? Obviously, you can't do that. So at some point, this thing will be outclassed, right? But even in that world, you'll be able to play Hollow Knight perfectly on this device forever, and games of its ilk, you know. And those games deserve as much respect as any of the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You need to try that. Yes, you do. Oh, I didn't know you had that. You definitely do. I have it running on the Quest 2 right over here, and it's amazing. Like, it's not full over your face, all around your head, virtual reality, but it's a humongous virtual screen, and you could obviously Bluetooth your controller to it, and you're gaming on xCloud in a virtual space. It's absolutely awesome. If you get a chance to. So try it on the fridge and let us know how it goes. I think I saw somebody on Instagram do that a couple of weeks ago or whatever. Really interesting stuff. Just, it's that game of where are you going to put it? But yes, needless to say. So I suspect that at some point with this device releasing and all that, you may see some either from us or from some community members, you may see some how-tos on, hey, here's how you put your own custom front end on this. Here's how to run every damn game from ColecoVision to PS3.
So I need to. First of all, you need one of these cases if you got the Oculus. Right?
Yeah, I have like 5 of them.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I'll tell you why. You know why I have 5 of them? Because every time I buy an Elite strap with battery for my Quest 2, it breaks, and then I go, Oculus, you bunch of so and so's. I need a replacement. And then 3 months later of bitching and complaining, they send me a new one. And then it shows up on Friday. And then Saturday, that one breaks too. And then 5 times. I have 5. And every time it comes in a new case. So it's like, oh, here's a new case. I don't need a case. I want this thing to work day one.
All right. So this is a question that I want to ask, right? Since we're talking about VR and we're talking about this.
Yes.
Does Phil Spencer need to branch out in the device types that specifically Xbox makes? So we know that they're going to make a streaming stick. That's another type of device, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's what they should do, right?
Yep.
Because even with xCloud, I don't think that it's really a device for mobile. 5G is not out there like that. You're not going to have an optimal experience.
Yeah, so it's still a very Wi-Fi game.
If you are going to play it in your house, that's where you're limited to.
Yep.
Why do I need my phone? Shouldn't I just play this in the browser? To me, that's the most interesting use of xCloud right now, is just saying I have this cheap laptop or my iPad, and I'm going to put it on this screen, and I'm going to be able to game in a browser. Just go to Chrome or Safari or whatever, xbox.com/play. That's way more interesting than the phone stuff right now. Everybody likes the idea of the phone, but in practice, who really uses it?
Bro, like, have you not been using your backbone with that thing? It's actually pretty damn good. Exactly. I got mine right here.
Use it only to make sure it works and check, right?
No, but truth be told, the way Backbone specifically, now the Razer Kishi, okay, I have that as well. Take it or leave it. The way this thing has integrated software with hardware, and the way they let you do that, they have their own interface there. This is the best experience you can have on your mobile device, and it's actually pretty compelling. Yes, you're absolutely right.
How do you add the Game Pass thing to it? Can you add it into the app, or do you have to launch it first?
I sent them a message saying that they should do that, and they said they're working on a way of getting the progressive web apps to show as a shortcut.
Because now they just sent like an advertisement from Backbone saying you get a free month of Game Pass Ultimate.
Game Pass. Oh yeah. So,
but you have that, and it's not supported in the app. Like that's stupid.
It's not that it's not supported. All it is it's literally a shortcut. They have not instituted shortcuts into. And by the way, the Backbone app had an update like 2 days ago, so I haven't checked. Maybe they fixed
check
that.
it out.
I sent them an email. I sent them an email saying, "Hey, y'all should do that," and they said, "Well, we're looking into it."
There's a featured video that I just saw right before we went live.
Yeah, which is by this. It's from Bored at Work, another great YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out. They're really good at that. Yeah.
On to the main question: what other devices do we think Phil Spencer and Xbox and Microsoft should be in the business of making as it relates to Xbox? We know the streaming stick. Should they make something like the Steam Deck, or should they make a VR device? And I know what Phil said. I saw the interview.
Yes,
he doesn't think so right now. He thinks that should be relegated to Windows, or it should be a standalone device. And Oculus kind of has that covered, and they have a close partnership with Oculus. So why not?
But you've already answered your question.
But that doesn't answer the question about mobile.
Position. They are not a mobile developer. They may become, because now they have mobile development houses, but they haven't actually implemented any of those mobile development houses yet in their acquisitions. So in the today world, they are not a mobile developer. Everything that they have in their plans is literally to get you to their destination of Game Pass, whether that be in your living room, on the go, on the phone, on the tablet, on the fridge, whatever the hell it is. There will soon come apps that are default installed on TVs. Possibly asking you, do you want bundled controllers? This is all there, but because they're doing that, people go, oh. They should make a Stream Deck. They don't want to make a Stream Deck. They want you in Game Pass. Now, if Steam Deck helps them get you into Game Pass, they will partner with them. That's the reason why they took their flavor of Android and started tinkering with it. They don't want to build their own platform. They just want you on their services. And if that means you want to stay in Android, sure, we'll tinker with Android and see if we can get you in it. If that means you want to keep a Steam Deck, sure, we'll build an Arch Linux variant of our tools so that you could, you know what I'm saying? Because if they R&D, like Linus said this on his show, the R&D alone just for the plastics on this thing is 7 figures. just for the plastics on this thing, before they started going back and forth on what the hardware will be. The fact that, and you say it shouldn't be, the fact that they can still offer you one, yes, admittedly at a slower speed for $399 is fucking insane. That price is nuts. Yes, us tech guys should not buy that one because it's not the optimal experience. I get it, but even that is insane. Oh, and by the way, a little side note that I didn't know that Linus was talking about on his show that I actually need to investigate. The SSD variants are replaceable.
Interesting.
Storage is replaceable because there are modules that you can uninstall and put a new one in. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're not in the business of getting you to buy their hardware. They're in the business of making you a Game Pass subscriber, a purchaser of their services. And however you are able to do that is the way they want you to do that. You want to buy their hardware? Great. They'll sell you their hardware. You don't want to buy their hardware, but you want to use your Android phone to access it? Great. That's good for them. You know, that's what they are about these days. They are about making sure that you get to where you can spend their money. You know, they can spend you spend your money on their services. That's what they are about today. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, it's a bit of an issue that we're gonna have to resort to. You know, but I honestly think that at this point, they really don't need to be making any additional hardware for anything. You know, they have the hardware they have. The already. Let me finish real quick. The Stream Stick stuff that you're saying, 100%, they should be doing that. But after that, I don't see them needing to make a Steam Deck. They don't need that. They can partner with them.
So for me, right,
and they're okay with partnering with them. So,
I think you want to present Game Pass and these Xbox games in the best light, right? And if this were before, when you couldn't have, when you had to make a different version of your game for mobile and it had to be a whole different ecosystem, like it was with the PSP, I understood why Xbox didn't want to do that, right? Because you're segmenting off the games that have come out. You're saying there's only certain ones. Now there's this opportunity to have, like, again, since these games are all coming to PC, you can say that these games can run on this device natively.
Yep.
And it can be a place for xCloud. And it is a place that you control the experience, and something that a grandmother can go off the street, pick up, use for themselves or give to their grandchildren, not think about it, not have to be a tech wizard. I think
but that's not this.
That's not this. And that's why my argument is that Xbox should make a handheld, and they don't have to segment their ecosystem.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying. But you see, I hear you, and you'd be right if this is what Valve was content with making. But we've already established this is the Model S. No one's supposed to be buying this. The Model S was never considered a mainstream device.
But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, should Microsoft make the Model 3?
I hear what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, in a world where they don't have to spend the R&D costs, all of that uplift, that seven figures just to get this thing to run, just to work out the recipe, the back and forth of it, they can easily wait until Valve themselves work out the recipe. Because remember, they're on Model S right now, to continue that analogy, right? They're on Model S right now. And eventually, if they get you to stay in SteamOS, right? If Microsoft has a nice deal with them where consumers can also use their native Game Pass app, their native, they do that deal where Steam games that also happen to be in Game Pass can work natively, then you stay there. And over time, see, and even there, look on the screen, it says hardware not final. They're very much in their preliminary, those that can afford it kind of phase right now. That's why you're right when you say, oh, they shouldn't be marketing at $400. Yes, they are marketing it at $400 because this is the market. This is not a, hey, by the way, this is a beta. No, they're asking for money, and because of that, they have to have some kind of regular marketing. Ooh, and I dropped my phone. Excuse me. They have to have some regular marketing, be able to have some marketing on that, right? And $399 is an attractive price to say when you compare it to what the Switch OLED just released with a 2015 Tegra chip, 2015-year-old Tegra chip that basically barely can run on anything. But eventually, they will be, if they keep up with it and we do our part and stay in SteamOS and keep working it, they will eventually get to a place, I'm confident, if, of course, unless this thing comes out and starts overheating and dying, they'll get to a place where they can make their Model 3 version. And at that time, it could be a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. Who knows? They could be iterating quickly. And when they do iterate quickly on that, then Microsoft can go, oh, now it's at a place where it's, turnkey, if you will, and we can just throw our app on there and run it natively. I get your point that they don't want grandma and grandpa to throw this to the kids and then it become this tech wizard driver troubleshooting situation. I get that. But that doesn't automatically mean that they themselves must now be responsible for all that R&D and all of that. They are further down the line than that, right? They're already offering you 2 SKUs, right? And there's also a chance that they'll offer you, I would call it a half SKU with a streaming stick, as it were. So at some point, they will have 3 gaming focused devices on the market. One being very stream heavy, and the other 2 being very specifically for native rendering. I don't see them. I would actually like to see what the Microsoft teams come up with from an engineering perspective to how they would make one of these things. But as far as them having to make one because they need one, I don't think they really need one. Oh, and I see. Okay, so he stepped away just for a moment, just so folks know he had to step away for just a moment right now. But yes, so now we have a comment from Mr. Beast Mode himself. Yes, cool tech, exactly. The cooling will be yes, yeah. We shall see where all of this goes. Like I'm in it day one because you enjoy the technology of it and all of that, but I'm not sure that all those answers are there for you. I'm hoping, and I'm pretty confident that Valve thought this through. And as I was saying to Everborn, the only reason why I'm confident about that is because I've used enough Valve devices to know that even when they fail, they really put a lot into it, and there's a lot of thought. It's not just about, oh yeah, let's throw this out there real quick and see if we can make a buck. They think it through. Sometimes they make mistakes, sometimes they fail, right? But they really think it through. Like the Index is, like, say what you will, it is a bit of overkill, but it's literally one of the top devices in VR. Even now that some other haptics have, some other lenses have overshadowed it or whatever, it's still one of the definitive, and it's all thanks to Valve. So even if the question comes up as, will this get to that place of, oh, now it's a full Switch competitor, I still think that their R&D and all of that, they've taken care of certain things that we don't know they're taking care of.
So let me answer Fuzzy's question, right? Like, yes, a streaming handheld would be nice, but I'm not saying it's only a streaming handheld. I think what this device,
native rendering handheld,
right? Yeah, this device itself has proven to me that Microsoft can make a handheld device
so you will run
x86 games, and it can run them natively at a 720p target. They can do it. It has all the RDNA 2 features.
No, but
they can use all those features. So they can do that as well as have, for the more intensive stuff, you can use cloud for that. And you can get that long life.
The point I'm making is they don't need to spend that money when they have a partner that's doing it for them. They just wait until it's ready, and then they drop their app.
Didn't you just give Microsoft shit about letting partners do stuff for them in the software department? Why are you letting them do it for you, the hardware department? They left partners to Windows for PCs to handle that shit, and they fucked it up. And so they had to go out and make the Surface, right? You need to control your own narrative in terms of hardware and software.
I hear you. You're absolutely right. And you know that's my argument usually. You're absolutely right. But in this specific instance, there's a difference here. It's not them just, oh yeah, we'll let the partners represent it. It doesn't seem that way. As you can see, they have in no way, shape, or form related to this right now. Everybody knows the backroom deals of, oh, this is going to definitely be an Xbox device. But right now, officially, none of that is out there.
But how can you install Windows? How can you push mobile and push all those things and talk about how mobile is the fastest growing market and we want to be there?
It is.
And you don't have a device. You don't have a device.
No, let's see. That's old thinking, bro. No. See, that's old thinking. That's saying, oh, the console market is great. We have to have a device. No, then the hardware sales become important again. They don't give a shit about devices.
Sales. I'm talking about controlling your experience.
Exactly. They don't care about. Look,
they don't care about the experience.
Yes, they do. Well, to a certain extent. Look, people used to be all about that Blu-ray, all about that high end. And still some people are. I still put Blu-rays in. When I want to watch The Matrix, I still grab my Blu-ray, even though I could stream it. But convenience has proven to be a thing. You know, why is what's the name of that streaming service never getting any credit? You know, they're giving you like lossless audio streams. Nobody buys it because cheap is convenient, right? And they've come to that realization. So they now know, hey, some people just want some convenience. They will lose a little bit of, they'll take a little bit of that latency. Maybe it won't run native and fast and perfect, but at that moment, at that time, it serves the purpose they need it for. That's fine. And that is very easy for them to do because it doesn't require thousands upon thousands of dollars. Just because their wallets are fat doesn't mean they just have to toss it out whenever possible, especially when they know that there are others now who are heading down that same path that they can partner with when the time is right. They're not going to partner with the Model S, but when it turns into the Model 3, you don't think there's going to be there's going to be a Game Pass app that runs native on there? I bet you there will be, because at that point, it'll be all that issue is solved in a year or two.
Yeah, but at that point, maybe they don't need you, Microsoft. At that point, when they take off. So, but this is the point that I'm making, because for me, if I'm making it, I think it is extremely important to have a dedicated device where you've designed.
They have a dedicated device.
What's the dedicated device? Okay, I'm saying for
mobile.
X
and the Series S.
But those aren't.
But they're not a mobile developer. They remember, their key has always been to get you. Their key is to get you desktop-like experience on a mobile device, not a mobile developer. Those are two very distinct things. Because if they were a mobile device, then they would be competing with Switch, and they're not. Right? They're not.
According to them, they're not competing with Sony, but they are.
No,
right?
but
come on, listen,
they're not a mobile developer.
This is what I would want. And Beast Mode asked the question, and maybe this is what this Samsung thing is.
Maybe.
That's fine. But what I say is they should build a Surface, and I'm agreeing with Jez here. They should, the next Surface, whether it's the 2 or the 3,
be solely focused on gaming.
No, not solely focused on gaming, but have an officially supported experience there. Meaning, maybe you release the next Surface Duo with a gaming peripheral that's specifically designed for that. Maybe it's like magnets that clip onto the side or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you just fold it up and
what
you
you
got
just
your
described
controller
there. What you just described there points out one small thing that I have a teeny tiny issue with on this device, on the Steam Deck here. On the flip, there are other devices that are relatively similar to the Steam Deck. Obviously, we've talked about them. The pluses that they've had, the things that have attracted me to them is, in some of them, you can remove the little Joy-Con sides off. And then all you have is the screen as a PC. That's super cool. The fact that this is like,
I actually like this better because if you have big hands or you play in something serious, like you could break some stuff.
Oh,
right.
The Switch shows that you don't do that. Come on now, you can make it work. There have been nobody talking about.
I understand.
I broke my Switch while playing a hard game.
I'm just saying this is more durable, and I like that.
Sure. No, cool and for the record, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. I just thought the versions that did that were cool. I wish this had a variant of that too.
I have never taken off my Joy-Cons.
Me neither. I've never taken off my
Joy-Cons.
So
then why they don't need to come off?
No, but this is a PC. When you have a keyboard and mouse layout and everything else, it'd be cool if that wasn't there. It's just a screen. Oh, and by the way, if you look at Steam's own store, there's a world where when the dock is locked, and actually maybe I'll be able to find the picture. There's a world where the dock is locked onto it, and you have a keyboard and mouse and a screen connected, and the screen on the Steam Deck becomes your chat, while the main screen is the game. Like, they are able to do stuff like that. It's absolutely great. So that's why you'd want maybe, remove the dock from this, the keyboard, the controls, because the main screen, when you dock it, becomes another screen. If you want, you can just have your chat in there, or you can have inventory. Like they showed that off while they were playing like games on the screen, But no, I hear you. It's an aesthetic choice they made. I think it's
talking about is not a completely closed down thing. I'm saying, like, the same way what exactly what Valve is doing. We're making this, but other people can make it. I think they should partner with the Surface division, get together with Panos, and say, hey, you make all these device categories. I want you to make a gaming device from Surface that is a new category.
Has a point that has disproved that basically counteracts your narrative right there. And I suspect they knew this was coming. Just like the Bang & Olufsen headphones that are high grade. What says you to the idea that when this thing releases and one day it is on a Best Buy shelf, it doesn't have that Xbox Design Approved sticker on it?
Let me stop you right there. They still made the new Xbox headset, didn't it?
No. I get that.
And the BO thing, because I'm not going to try to butcher the name of that thing. That is for the hardcore enthusiasts who got $500 to spend on a headset, right? Yeah. But that's not the one for everybody. The one for everybody is the Xbox headset. That's the one that they designed. They control it. They are able to put value there and mass produce that.
I think they're so far. They're so focused,
like that.
Like you have already said, Satya is so focused on services. Service is the goal. It's not hardware is not the goal. Hardware sales aren't the goal. Services, reoccurring revenue.
Why does a Surface division exist at Microsoft?
The Surface division exists at Microsoft because they got tired of people clowning their hardware. But that's a different use case. Really? It's a different use case. Oh, you're going back and forth. I hear you.
Sir.
No. Look, you are listen to me. The Surface division is an answer to all the Ballmer and the Sinofsky, all those things we've already discussed. The Surface division was created to stop all that drama because they had the wrong idea. They were saying, "Oh, partner, here you go. What hardware are you using? We don't care. Just put it on there." That's why eventually the Surface division was necessary because basically dirtied up their vision.
Under Ballmer. What are you talking about?
I understand that, but what I'm saying is it could have been founded under Ballmer. That's fine. But what their use case is in the world we live today is to counteract that narrative that Windows sucks because of the hardware. Because that's what had been festering for years before then. Vista, hot take, was a great operating system if you had 16 gigs of RAM running on it, which most folks did not. If your CPU was in a higher level, which most folks did not. If you ask me if you tell me that most folks are going to go to Best Buy and buy an HP Pavilion piece of plastic crap and then run Vista on it and then say, "Oh, it sucks." Yeah, that's why the Surface team was like, "Okay, we're going to set a new minimum baseline." But that's because before that time, Ballmer and the rest of them allowed this stuff to fester. They're not doing that in this case. They're waiting until the hardware is at its peak before they partner.
What I'm saying is, if you think Microsoft is not trying to move into the mobile,
I don't disagree with that.
Right?
I don't disagree with that. No, they are definitely moving into mobile.
That they can get. They'll tell you this right now. The Eastern markets, the South Korea,
and all those markets don't buy. Most of them don't buy singular hardware for gaming. Korea, one of the largest mobile markets in the world, use their phone for everything. They don't buy. Yes, there are some who buy Switches.
Selling the way it's Switch,
bro. The Switch sales in comparison to those who use mobile, just their phones to do it, is astronomically different. It's not like, oh, they're all walking around with 2 devices. No, most folks, there's more regulars than there are hardcore. Yeah, the hardcore will buy Switches and the medium will buy Switches, and Switches benefiting. I'm not denying that, but there are way more gamers who game just on their phone. When what do you call it? When the PUBG, when India canceled PUBG, how many millions of users did when they banned it in one day, all on their phone? They weren't using special devices. That's what Microsoft sees. You know, yeah, they could build a Vita. I would love them to build a Vita. That would be effing awesome. I want that custom hardware. But from a business perspective, it's fun, not necessary, because the target market that they want to go for, that 3 billion gamers that they want to see, that 3 billion gamer estimate is based on dudes who use their phone. Well, not just dudes, forgive me. It's based on people who use their phone as their primary method today. And they don't buy separate hardware to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's an option, but it's not needed, because those 3 billion gamers game today on their phones today.
I think if you're making a dedicated streaming stick, when Fuzzy? You know, if you're making a dedicated streaming stick because you know that experience that you can provide might be better than what you can put on a TV OS.
Sure. Not gonna argue with you. Yes.
The Steam Deck is made with the number one thought of whatever Valve needs. That's what it's made with in mind. I think there should be a device with Xbox's needs in mind, something designed by that. And they have a hardware division specifically for that is in the business of creating new computing categories. So if they
I don't disagree, but I will push back and say,
last point is, I think what solves both of our issues or wants, to me, I think the Surface Duo is right there. It is something that they could do, and they could make Surface native.
But I would never buy that. I just never would buy that.
What if it was a high-end Android phone, dual screen?
Yeah, but that's exactly my point. The Android part is the problem. I would never buy that, because Android, again, your own argument. They build that OS for their needs. It will never be the native experience you want it to be from Microsoft. Then they have to go into a whole different category and build the OS
you don't believe they need that for gaming.
They don't. You know why? Because they've been successfully able to bring you into their ecosystem from a browser. Not the ideal, true, but enough. Look, how many times have you gamed on have you streamed? How many times have you done that? Honestly.
I don't know, a couple of hours here and there.
Okay. I will tell you, since the day they allowed game streaming, like I was lucky enough to get part of the beta because I was part of the insider program way long ago. I have seen it mature from its early infancy of, cuts the slideshow stuff to where it is today. Okay. Even Phil Spencer came out and has said it in multiple interviews. This will never be your native experience, but we have a device for you if you want that hardcore platform experience. We have that for you, and it's great, and it'll do it, and we'll continue to build on that, right? And they even have a native device if you're like that dorm room kid and you just want some of that. They have that for you as well. But trust me when I tell you that with the backbone and a good internet connection, that experience is so good. They don't need to spend the 7 figures to. It's not a gap that they need to fill right now, because the other thing that they have going is so good. It's the Netflix of consoles, because it's not perfect, but it's good enough to the point where most people will be okay with it. I think
you don't get to 3 billion gamers without mobile, and this idea that they don't need
in multiple aspects. They get to 3 billion gamers by giving you the console, by giving you the desktop, by giving you the mobile, which they are doing.
And you want them to control all of these other experiences, but not mobile. Let everybody else decide your experience. No,
they are controlling mobile.
This is not their device. Bro, this is not their controller layout. This is not their thing. and they are
and remember, you just lost your argument by saying the controller layout. They are the ones that have literally come out and made the controller layout work better for Xbox, for Game Pass gamers, even than PlayStation. You can use the PlayStation, any controller you want, and they've made it super supportable because they don't care about that. They want you to take what you got and get to where they want you to go. Okay. And when you're in their ecosystem, it is perfect. It is. It's great. It's not like, oh, you're in our ecosystem, but we can only give you so much because this is not our hardware. Like the level of Bluetooth stack, the level of Wi-Fi stack has almost been standardized across the board. A lot of those old school Android devices that were POSs, they're no longer out there. Even today, if you buy a sub $100 Android phone, you're getting Wi-Fi 4 plus. You're getting a Bluetooth 4 plus. You're getting a Wi-Fi signal that's not the old 2.4 gigahertz channels. You're getting at least 5, if not N. And Wi-Fi 6 is around the corner, and Android users are throwing hardware at this thing as much as possible. The Pocophone is under $500 and gives you 120 hertz displays and stuff. Trust me, when you're in that interface, it's not as bad as all that. And because of that, there's no real use case to go build your own thing, in my opinion.
I wholeheartedly disagree with your opinion, but I think this is something you will agree with. Again, I think the next Duo, whether they do it, the 2 or the 3 or whatever,
if they do their own OS on that Duo, yes, that's a different story. But if they stick with Android, that thing's going nowhere.
I think you need to put Windows 11 on ARM on that with x86 emulation,
that's a whole
and have a magnet attached controller to it that's simple, done, folded out. It's the only device you need, and they are controlling that mobile experience.
I get that. I hear you, and I guess because I'm so much beyond that, this piece of plastic thing, that it's like, it's exactly the same conversation.
This piece of plastic, it is another option, and I think that's a place that they need to see. You see, yours says expect. Oh, that's not yours.
No. This is just the website.
Okay. What does yours say now when you go there? Does it say?
It says like when I initially reserved, it was still saying 2021. But now when you go there, it says 2022. I don't think I don't think this specifically here has anything to do with your order. I think it's to do with general availability based on how many pre-orders they already have. That's what I think. I may be wrong, but that's what I think. So let's see. So okay, we've been going back and forth on the need of this and its use case and all of that. But I will say I'm genuinely excited for it. I know you are. We're definitely going to try it out when it comes out. We're definitely going to there's probably going to be a lot of conversations about what to do with it and how to use it and all that. And those who continue to watch us.
Only one thing to do with it, and that is find a way to get xCloud on there or Game Pass on there.
Yeah, but that's what he says. But when I show you my beautiful front end, that then asks you, hey, here's a ColecoVision. It was made in 1970, blah, and this is all the details on it. And you click into it, and there's this beautiful interface that shows you all these games and everything else. And you can save, and you can play Switch. There's some emulators out there, but I'm talking more what do you call it, Dreamcast and all these other obscure emulations that can't be done easily. That's when this thing will shine. And that's within our power user frame, which is the only people that hit buy a couple days ago, like yesterday. Those are the only people that are going to be buying this thing, at least at launch, right? They're not going to be I bought this thing. Now let's see how I can use my Switch, use my Steam Deck to just replace my laptop. No way. Most people who bought this thing probably have a badass PC already anyway. So yes. We shall see. I'm actually genuinely looking forward to how this whole thing shakes out, And here's a quick note from Beast Mode.
Hey man, every inch counts.
And that's why they're approaching it from so many aspects, right? You can access it from the desktop. You can access it from your mobile device. You can any place where you can install an app or even have a browser. You can join us. That's how else can you diversify? What else? Yes, I know you want them to spend the money and come out with that shiny, where to go, the Xbox Series V or whatever, and maybe that might happen. And if it happens, I'll be there day one with my credit card.
And you gonna pretend like you was in support of it the whole time.
Oh, no. Let me be clear. I am not saying I don't want it. I'm not saying it's crap. I'm saying the tech geek would love that crap, but it's not necessary from a business perspective right now, when other partners are heading in that same direction and seemingly doing the right moves. It's not, from a technical perspective, from a business perspective, necessary to eat as much as the cost that Valve has already eaten to make this thing, to make your own one, just so you can control the whole aspects of it. It's not technically necessary. If they in their big brain $2 trillion company go, you know what? We do want to control the full stack. We're going to build this anyway. Dude, I'm there. But I don't think it's necessary, because the Razer Kishi, the Backbone, that experience, they've tweaked it so much that it's damn good right now. And more people have phones than $500-600 to buy an extra handheld device. So that's why I think that. If I'm wrong, I'd be glad to be wrong, because I love Microsoft. When they R&D, they make great hardware. So I'd love to see it. But I don't think they will, because I don't think they need it right now. My opinion. So let us move swiftly along. Unless you want to rebut, please go ahead.
No.
I'll let you have the last word if you want.
We'll go into the last word is you're wrong, but we can move forward.
We shall see if I'm wrong. Time will tell. And we'll be here on the Gaming Circle.
Oh, no. But see, the problem is I don't know that they will make one. I'm saying they should, because they should control that piece of it. If you're trying to touch everybody. They should. I'm saying I would love it if they made it, but I don't think they will, because they don't think it's necessary. We shall see if it happens. Because if they do, as Fuzzy says, he's absolutely right. If you do, you might see it. You might see it in 2023. You might see it. You might see an E3, conversation about it, or whatever. And if that were to happen, hey, I'd be glad to be wrong. Because, like I said, I like their hardware team and what they produce. And be clear, I will be referring back to the Gaming Circle podcast, episode 12.
Oh, yeah. And you will hear me say, if they make it, I'd be happy to be wrong. But I don't think they will, because it's not necessary from a business perspective.
You just understand that I'm the type of person that throws I told you so parties.
Oh, throw it all day.
Okay.
But it's not me saying, oh, you're wrong, they're not going to make it because of shit. No, it's me saying I don't think they need it. And I don't think they see that they need it. But anyway, let us move swiftly along. So beyond this topic took up most of our conversation, because it took up most of our day yesterday.
Definitely should have called the title the
Steam Deck podcast. The Steam Deck, the Game Boy. We should come up with a better name for this thing, because come on, man. The Game Boy podcast. Check the tapes, he says. We're gonna have some receipts for you, bro. Don't worry. Come back here. We have the receipts.
Don't worry.
But in general, beyond the Steam Deck, right? We wanted to have more of a general PC conversation, because I know you're not really a PC guy like that, although you have a capable PC. So
because
what I want to do. Oh, here we go. What I want to do is have some real talk conversation with you, and REAL conversation with you about why that is. Because everyone has their way, everyone has where they prefer. In general, I like to be a console guy myself, but I want to know from your perspective, because so folks are aware, we have pretty basically similarly spec devices. He has a 10. What was yours? Yours is a KF, right?
Yes.
An
i9 10900 KF.
10, yeah, and I have a 10900K, not the KF. There's slight differences there. Beyond that, we have the same machine, 64 gigs. I have a couple terabytes.
What speed is your memory?
Let's see. I think. Oh Lord. Give me a second.
Just go to task manager. You'll see it right there.
I'm going there right now. But yeah, needless to say, we are pretty comparably spec'd in the world of PC gaming, like game hardware and output and all of that. But in general, I'm running right now. Running at 300 megahertz. 3200 megahertz. Yeah.
Same.
So there you go. We're pretty much comparably spec'd. My CPU right now, because my room is nice and cool, is overclocked to 5.3 gigahertz as we speak. So we have the hardware for it. We both run 3080s. Which variant of a 3080 do you have?
Whatever Dell makes.
Well, they don't make it. They put it in there.
Was
it a Founders Edition or
whatever? I have no idea. It's a custom variant. They have their own custom variant of the, what do you call it, in Alienware. Check it out.
Okay. I wasn't sure about. I thought they put the discrete ones in there. Well, see, if that's the case, then mine beats you because I have an EVGA Ultra version, which clocks higher.
I'm winning on the CPU, so it's fine.
No, you're not. It's the same clock speed. Mine's
what is the higher. F? What is the F for?
the K is for overclocking. The F, I thought the F was like, I think the F has one.
It's for FU. My PC is better. That's what it's for. Yeah. But anyway,
I think it has one enterprise feature than the other one. But needless to say, we are comparably spec'd. But I have found myself. He's had his PC for a while now. I recently upgraded. You had just since December. I recently upgraded, like I'd say less than 3 months ago. Before then, I was running a 1080 Ti liquid cooled for like a few years. What's the F stand for? So we have machines that could potentially run our like, as great as the Xbox is, as great as the PlayStation is, they are dirt compared to these PCs.
Flight Sim looks next week when it comes out, it will look better on my PC.
That's right.
Halo
and even
will look
have you
better.
played Flight Sim recently?
Not recently. I know they put out an update.
Boy, the frame rates have shot up, man. Now my machine can swim. It used to be like chugging, and ours are the same. So.
But again, I think this is the thing that a lot of people are having trouble sort of wrapping their heads around, and this idea that a game is just a game, and the PC or the Xbox is an endpoint to access that game, right? So I'm not looking at, when I play Halo, I'm going to play it everywhere. I'm going to play it where I am, right?
Oh, yeah, me too.
I
love that Microsoft allows me to do that.
And I'm going to run through the campaign. I'm not going to play it once through on PC and then play it again on console. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm in the living room right now. I'm going to load this thing up and play it. And I'm going to get through this level. And I'm going to pick up exactly where I left off the next day when I'm at work. And it's right here. It's going to look better here. It won't be on the OLED, but it will be on the 4K 43-inch 144 hertz monitor.
Spec talk, baby. Spec talk.
Right?
Let's do this.
Okay, I see you. I see
you.
He decent. I see you. What you're looking like.
That's what it is. What?
Those are basically, except for the so like my PC came with 32 gigs, and I took the Dell RAM out and just put in 64 of something else. Yep. Because I was having some issues with the memory timing. They were different because they were different brands. So I just had to buy 4 sticks of the same one and not deal with that nonsense. Shlomo was telling me like I could look at the timings and try to match them, but I'm like, I'm not doing all that.
You could go into the BIOS and set the match. You see?
I'm not doing all of that.
Instead, pull it out and put new ones in. Wow.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to think about it. And then I added another NVMe 1 terabyte, so I got 2 terabytes. But we got the same thing.
Indeed, bro. Indeed. PC Tech Talk is basically showing off.
So the only difference is I don't have the stomach for overclocking things anymore. I don't want to think about heat.
I care not. Yeah. Mine is set to intelligent clock, which basically the cooler it is, the higher it goes. It checks the workloads and it
you got
scales.
PlayStation set up. You got the PlayStation.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Like you can turn all that off, but I've left it on, and sometimes, like right now, if I'm podcasting, it's probably running at like 3.6 or something like that. If I turn on the game, it can go as high as like 5.3, depending on how hot it gets.
But
it does that.
I love that idea that like when you want to get into that, it's the same thing. You're not buying it twice. It's all one thing, and I really wish Sony would do that because I love that experience. I just jumping from Xbox to Xbox for me is great, and then if I go and pick it up in the cloud, but I don't do that in practice. I always check the cloud to see how it's doing, and I turn it off and go and like play on a real system. But jumping from Xbox to Xbox to PC, like if Sony did that and allowed you to get trophies on the PC games and just made it as one thing and just sort of blurred that line of ecosystem, I think we would all be better for it. I think they'd make more money because they'd have another base to sell to. And I think you'd have a lot less stupid arguments online about why this shit matters, because it doesn't really matter. People
and eventually we will get there because their direct competitor is pushing that boundary to the point where eventually it'll become undeniable. At least that's the hope, right? Eventually it becomes undeniable, and then the competitor must then respond equally or better.
And then people are going to pretend like that's just the way it's always been.
Then they'll do the Apple thing. Look what Apple invented. They invented widgets.
Now, I do want to talk about just Flight Sim for a minute. It's going on.
Yeah. Let's go to Flight Sim. Yeah.
Flight Sim, is it a game or is it a simulation?
I mean, games and simulations have been interchangeable for a while now, right? Like way back in the day, the U.S. military like had what do you call it, a Treyarch or whatever, like customize a bit of a Call of Duty so that they could use it for training, because they know that those kids play that at home already anyway. Like it is a simulation, true, but it's also a game, but it's also a simulation. Like a lot of people, like there are some really good documentaries on YouTube. I think NoClip did one about Flight Sim. A lot of the folks who are like diehard Flight Sim fans, they're like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, my dad just sat me in front of this thing, turned all the assists on, and I was having a fun time playing games. Yeah, now they're pilots, because eventually as you get to it and you're getting further, you start familiarizing with this. It's a long process, but if it's a boring, stale simulator, not that many people will stick with it. This game is very beloved because of the idea that it's not just a game, it's able to really take it there and be further if you need it. Exactly. Gran Turismo, it's a game, but it's also a simulator, but it's a game. That idea is interchangeable in many ways if they do it right. And I think they've done it right here. So
for me, I would like to see more, because people are making games within this, within the ecosystem of Flight Sim. And I think it's very encouraging of what they're doing with it, because I think they're trying to turn Flight Sim into this bit like a platform in and of itself.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I would love to see like officially sort of supported modes where it's like kind of an Ace Combat mode, where it's a fighter pilot mode where you can fly with your friends and kind of shoot them down, right? I would love to see. So
let me throw some PCMR at you. You could do that today.
I know you can do it today, but it's not.
Just modify it.
Yeah, but
and I know people. I've seen people on YouTube with like Star Wars planes in there, with ships in there, like multiplayer together, like crazy madness people are doing in there. And Microsoft is taking note. Hence the Top Gun edition, and that's just the beginning, right? They're looking at their community, going, oh, they want some cool expansion packs. Yeah. We'll do it officially, charge you a little bit. But the hackers are also out there doing some interesting things too.
So 2 points just from the chat, and then I'll come to your point.
Yeah, please.
Top Gun is an expansion, but it is not a fight. You're flying fighter jet.
Yeah, you're not dogfighting.
But you're not. Yes, yeah. I want a dogfight mode, and I want to and I know people are doing storm chases, but what if you had like a racing mode, like you have to hit these points and you have to fly through these storms, and that's
those already exist.
Supported.
officially exists. Yeah. Right now, officially, there are games where you can, obstacle courses, if you will, in Flight Sim right now.
And there's like world races, like so New York,
yes,
China.
There are races. There are races today. Yes, it's just you getting your group together. All have Flight Sim capable PCs is a hard thing to pull off right now. But yes, you can definitely go in and do those races.
Combat expansion pack. That's exactly what I want. Yep. And I think I'm okay if they take cues from the mod community, see what's popular,
as they do,
and then officially support it and for the casuals that come in, and so you'll just have this robust world of people coming in. And if you do that, this thing can become their next big Minecraft type thing.
That's where they're headed, bro. That's where they're headed, and I can tell, and I'm there for it because it's very exciting.
I want to kit out my plane. You know what I'm saying? I want to get things to add to it.
You have a flight yoke? I have one of the little
I don't
have a big dog. I bought mine for $50 a while ago, but it's great. I use it for what do you call it? Elite Dangerous. If you haven't played that, oh my god, Elite Dangerous in VR with your flight yoke, bro, you are transported to a new world. I'm using that, and also that's another thing I have not tried yet, because before the recent update, even with our beefy systems, we were barely getting 50, 60 frames per second without any kind of help, without any kind of degradation. Now it's dropped down significantly where the machine can have some good overhead. There is a VR component to Flight Sim.
Do you close everything when you run Flight Sim?
I do. There's a PC mode. You can go in and turn off a bunch of stuff. I even turn off like OneDrive from updating in the background, things like that.
See, that's the thing. Like I always have Photoshop running, GIMP running, Unity is always running in the background. All these things.
Man, you need to cut that out.
I know, but
you need to cut that out.
64.
Well, I mean, mostly you're fine. I should be able to do that. You're fine. But for a game like Flight Sim, that's like going back and forth with petabytes of data, like get out of here with all of that. You eventually you need more resources. Yes, I have exactly the same one, Fuzzy. I have that Thrustmaster HOTAS 1. That's right. It cost me $50. Best $50 I've ever spent. It's still great to this day. I see a lot of them out there. That's amazing. This is like, toys and stuff. It's plasticky, whatever, but it gets the job done. I'm hoping that one day when I get serious into it, maybe
in the game. I thought you meant in the game. Like,
oh no. Okay. In the game, it's a control stick that then gives you more similar feeling to a flight stick instead of controller and mouse and all of that. So I'm looking forward to.
I want to do chases. I want to do world races. I want to do storm.
Bro, if you want to do chases and world races, you can do that today.
But doing that with people out of the sky,
that's different. Yeah, they're not there yet as far as that. They're not quite there yet as far as shooting people out of the sky, stuff like that. But this is the beginning, right? They're just releasing it on console. The thing about that, though, the thing that I wouldn't say worries me, the thing I'm interested to see how they thread that needle is the controls, because even today, and admittedly I haven't played Flight Sim a lot since the update came out, but even the last time I played it, you have to touch your keyboard at some point. There is no 100% just on a controller.
Should Flight Sim come to console? And
it's on console.
Not Flight Sim. That's not what I meant. Flight Sim. Age of Empires.
Of course it should. Because Microsoft has already done the hard work of making keyboard and mouse fully integrated onto console.
So this is the question. Should it come via keyboard and mouse, or do they say we have to make it work with a controller?
Well, see, in the world we live in right now where they're giving everybody options, I would say, if they really wanted to do the keyboard mouse thing, the controller thing, they could. But at the end of the day, since those people who love to play that game are very much keyboard mouse players themselves anyway, not by necessity, but by choice, right? They like the keyboard mouse experience. It's better than a controller experience in many cases, right? So I think they've done right by them by making the keyboard mouse an option for console players. Because if you're buying Age of Empires on a console, like 10 people in a room, 8 of them are people who are Age of Empires curious, and they know what it's about, and they'll probably want to play it with a keyboard and mouse because that's what that kind of game is for. So why go about the hard work of making this thing integrated and working well, only to then take those games and make them PCs, make them consoleized.
Yeah, but I'm not saying don't support console. I'm not saying make the switch. Should they require the game to use a controller?
A controller? No, because again, like I'm saying.
But what about the people that don't read? That get it and they think they can play it with a controller. And then
those are people that don't read. Like if you played any Steam games anytime, like if I'm playing a game and I'm in like a big screen mode or whatever, and I hit a button and I want to play a game in big screen mode. Big screen mode is meant basically for like a gaming PC UI kind of thing. When you're trying to play something, the first thing you see before play, please know in a big yellow lighting that this is partially controller supported or not controller supported. In a world where you have so many games and so many options, these are things you must adhere to. These are things you must pay attention to. And if you miss it, that's your problem. That's a you problem. They'll make it clear that, hey, or even look, try a bunch of the games now, right? On Game Pass. If you try to stream Game Pass and you don't have the required controller, it'll stop you and make you add a Bluetooth controller in before it continues. Unless you happen to be playing a game that supports touchpad, touch control. So they've already instituted that.
I guess so. I don't know.
Right? They've already instituted it. So there will come a world. I definitely believe that Age of Empires should 100% come to console. And when you're trying to play it, they should say, this game is keyboard mouse supported. Please plug it in before you continue. Yeah, that's what they should do because it is strictly a PC game.
I agree with you, sir. But
have you seen Razer's keyboard mouse combo that's specifically designed for Xbox?
I have not seen that. No,
it's expensive as hell. I did not buy it because it was $250.
Bring it up on screen. Put it up on screen.
Let me find it. Yeah, it's expensive, but it was their version of now because Microsoft has finally instituted the Razer instituted the ability to use keyboard and mouse with this console. We're going to let you be able to keyboard and mouse while sitting on your couch in the living room, and they made it. Hold on, let me show you what it looked like. Yeah, here you go. It's not cheap, but I was hoping that it would eventually lead to more in the market. But because those games haven't come out yet, there's really not been a need for them yet. I suspect that will change when those games come out.
You know what's crazy? The Xbox app isn't working again.
What do you mean the Xbox app isn't working?
No. You remember when it wasn't working on my machine the last time?
Yeah.
It's not working again. It's on that screen forever. The start, the splash screen. What did we do the last time? Oh my God.
Right? It's not good. Like it's too, and it came out during Xbox One gen. The reason why they've had no reason to change the price or whatever. How many games are on console that really are good with keyboard that are on Xbox that are really meant for keyboard and mouse? Few and far between. And because of that, there's no real need to bring this to the market, and it's not cheap. Look, they have the nice pad that sits on your lap. You can do it like wirelessly. It's ready to go. It's just when they have a bunch more games, then this will become more necessary, and it'll drive costs down. This has been out for a while, and no one's really been able to use it because they haven't really put games out that really need to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is all on the cusp. And this thing is pretty cool. Like you can flip the keyboard, you can flip the table, and the mouse won't fall off. It's gonna stay on that table. They put some really interesting engineering in here. But at $250, I think it's a little bit beyond the pale, just a bit. So there will come a time where once games like Age of Empires and more, see, like these are the games that support it now. Not much, but it's slow, and it even got the RGB and everything. But it's slowly getting there. So. To answer your question, yeah, I think Age of Empires should come to the console, and they should require you keyboard and mouse. Now, maybe not at launch, maybe down the line, 6 months, however down the line, and in the interim, Microsoft is working in the back with Corsair and the rest of them going, hey, we already see Razer has their version. That's a bit expensive. How about you make a cheaper version? Oh, here's a $99 version with keyboard and mouse. Oh, here's a $60 version with keyboard and mouse. Once those are available and in the market, hell yeah, release these PC only games on the console because it can handle it. You disagree? Look at this thing. It's freaking cool.
I think that they should. This is the problem. I don't want the mouse and keyboard to muddy up the console experience, because right now, if I play a multiplayer game, I am definitely saying I only want to play with people using controllers. Like when I play Halo, right?
Yep.
I don't want them saying, okay, now console people are also using mouse and keyboard. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I suspect the reason why the way you are thinking about it today, the way you are
PC game is cheap. We could talk about that too.
I hear, yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I hear you, and that is probably, I suspect, why this product came out and has been sitting there for a while now, and most people don't know this thing exists. You know, they don't know this exists because, they don't know how to fully. They don't know how to. Microsoft has not fully put the backing behind it because they're not fully vested yet.
Because it's not theirs. People don't know it exists because Microsoft didn't make it, and there's a certain power in the platform holder making a thing.
And let's be clear. Let's be 100% clear. They could make a keyboard mouse combo. They've been making keyboards and mice since the 70s and the 80s.
Yes, they could make an Xbox keyboard and mouse. They could do that.
They could, and I suspect they will.
And more people would buy it just because they made it than this.
But right now, there are very few games that support it. So it's not really, the $250 is not worth it for this one, because look at the amount of games. It's very few and far between.
But when you say they support it, what do you get? What is the feature that supports it? What do you mean? When you say these games support it, what does that mean exactly?
Meaning when you so right now there are games that are limited to the console because they have to have gamepad input, right? You were talking about Age of Empires being a unique example there. That game won't launch day one because it does not have a keyboard. It doesn't have a controller implementation. So the Xbox instituted full keyboard mouse support. It took a while. I started testing it a while ago, and back in the day, the keyboard, it wasn't quite 100% there yet, but it's come a long way since then. So at this point today, when a game that doesn't support an Xbox controller input is launched onto Xbox, as long as you have a keyboard mouse plugged in, it should detect it and go, okay, you're good. And if it doesn't, it should say, please connect a keyboard mouse, because this game only supports keyboard mouse. But any keyboard mouse will work right now. If you go to your living room and you plug in your keyboard and mouse, your USB dongle to the back of the X Series X or S, you will be able to use that. It's just for a long time it hasn't been there. It works with Edge. It works with a bunch of stuff. Since a bunch of games haven't been there, it hasn't really been worth, hey, look at us, we have a keyboard and mouse. There are very few games that are head that way, right? And as you're rightly pointing out, people's mindset changes. They're like, oh, well, that's a console game. Oh, well, that's a PC game. And based on that, oh, well, I would never play this here. That's a console game. Oh, I would never play this here. That's a PC game. As they let these features come out and they first party pimp them, then that line will start to blur. Now, your point about hackers on console on PC, that point is true. So they're gonna have to work on that one as well. That's gonna be one of those things, and that's not a thing that anybody's immune to. Like all the console spaces are having that, That's it.
Okay, what does Beast Mode say?
Yeah. It says not happening because the philosophical decision. If they have a game on Xbox, they insist the controller mouse support should be possible. I hear you, but if that was the case, they would not put so much dev time in implementing full keyboard mouse support, and even to the point where they partnered with Razer to release this thing. This is a future play. It's not for today, right? We don't see its use case for today, but we're on the cusp of Flight Sim, right? Flight Sim has optional PC support, controller support right now. I'm sure by the time it releases on the console, it'll be fully PC supported, right? Controller supported. I'm not saying that tomorrow they should release a game that's only on that's only keyboard mouse supported. I'm saying that since that work has been done, they can slowly start adding that into the mix now. They can slowly start saying, hey, guess what? Flight Sim, Here's the controller for it, will help you. But if you plug in a keyboard mouse, that's an option, right? It's optional now. Eventually, when there enough games are on the system that they can do that, then they can be a bit more, just like Steam, they can be a bit more, well, this is partial support, this is no support, this is full support. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but it's starting to happen. And I don't even necessarily care that they make it, that they release those games. But my problem with that idea, of the whole idea, would be I wouldn't want them to go, oh yeah, it's a requirement to make sure it's a PC that it has a controller on it, because Microsoft has and they've done pretty good up until now in making sure that they always let the consumer, or even the developer in this case, determine how they want to, what's the best experience of their game. Asking them to make sure they implement keyboard mouse, maybe their game, maybe their idea just doesn't work that way. Some games are just natively run on keyboard mouse and they just work that way, right? It took a long time for people to get used to FPSs on controller, because for a while there, it was just the place for keyboard mouse. And many people still don't like it, FPSs with just controllers. I don't want them to mandate anything. I want them to always have that option available, including the keyboard mouse. So if some indie or some crazy awesome game comes out, I don't want the idea that this amazing game that we could experience on Xbox, we won't be able to because it has a mandate for controller. And them instituting full keyboard mouse support should speak to the fact that they don't want to mandate keyboard controller support.
And they support wireless.
Yeah, this is wireless.
Okay.
This is wireless, and I think this also even supports their own. Yeah, I think it supports their own Microsoft. Or am I wrong? No. This one probably has a dongle, but like I have a Corsair headset over here that uses Microsoft's own proprietary wireless protocol. Here's the what do you call it? The Corsair 75XB. It's basically the same protocol as the Xbox controller. It's an Xbox controller protocol. It only works for Xbox. You can use it on PC, but you have to have the Xbox dongle plugged in. They could do the same thing with the keyboard and mouse. All right. It's a peripheral.
Okay, so the question is, since we're talking PC, when do you think Sony bites the bullet and goes full day and date for all their releases? I know they have to guide their fan base into it slowly, because they've been utilizing this vitriol that people have for marketing purposes. I understand all that, but when do they do it? And I know that's what Nixus was about.
Yes,
but when do we get to a transition where PC is just kind of like you'll get everything there?
Honestly, I think we're probably, realistically, on the PlayStation side, I think you're talking about the late side of the PS5 generation into the PS6. Just like when Microsoft's Xbox One was failing and Phil Spencer took over, they started making moves, but now you see in hindsight, they didn't make those moves to correct the Xbox One. They made those moves in preparation for the Series consoles, which here we are now, and we're seeing it come to fruition. I honestly think, Ragnarok, Fuzzy, we're about receipts here, bro. I don't think you're going to win this one. Like, you sure about that? Day and date on PC? I doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Listen, Fuzzy, you might be on something.
If that happens, I will remember this, man.
Hold on.
If that happens, I will come on your show or wherever you are in the chat room, and I will throw compliments at you, because that would be.
First of all, that's one thing. Everybody go Saturday nights to Shop Podcast.
Shop for sure. Yes.
TK Blam and Fuzzy's there.
They do good work out there.
Go over there every Saturday night. They got a great show over there. I've guessed a couple of times.
I'm always in their chat. They do real good work.
But listen, I think, did you hear Jim Ryan saying that Horizon and God of War would come out in the next year or so? Did you catch
Horizon
that quote?
And God of War have already both been, but this is not new, dude. Like they said, Horizon. Well, hold on. Are you saying Horizon and Zero and will come to PC this year?
Forbidden West. No. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Everybody, we are all wondering if Horizon Forbidden West will come out this year.
Yeah.
Right? But in a recent interview, Jim Ryan said that God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West will be released in the next year or so.
And why is that surprising? The only thing that was going to slow them down was COVID.
So
we already know Ragnarok is not a new game. Ragnarok,
that's not what I'm talking about.
Is Lost Legacy.
Is Horizon coming this year? And if it's not coming this year, what does the second half of 2021 look like for Sony?
Oh, so you want to go full speculation talking Sony town? Okay, we could do that. Because we do have a few topics before we close this out. We're rounding 3 hours, so there are a few more topics. I wanted to quickly talk on the
all right, do those quick because I got to get out of here by 1.
Yeah. We want to talk the difficulty levels, and you had another topic you wanted to bring up.
I don't even remember what that was.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
Remind me. I'll talk about it, but I just don't remember.
Yeah, I forget what it was. Like maybe the
Steam Deck talk.
Yeah, it kind of derailed us. Yes. So will Horizon be releasing this year or next? I think whenever Jim Ryan speaks, it's not insight. It's the official word. Okay? And it is the official word until the official word changes. Look, officially, they have said they're trying to release Horizon in a COVID vacuum, right? Because COVID changed everything, and COVID still its ugly head still rears, right? But in a world where COVID is not a factor in the equation, they said officially 2021, right? We all know that in the background there's some back and forth. Will it? Won't it? We don't know that for sure. We're still in that world, right? Then there's the idea that we definitely know that Breath of the Wild is coming out next year, and Breath of the Wild ate its lunch the last time it came out, right? So they're trying to avoid Breath of the Wild, right?
I mean, they still did eat its lunch. It ate its lunch in terms of accolades and rewards, but
no. It ate its lunch. It ate its lunch because look, even I remember that. And I'm not really that, and this might be a hot take from me, I'm not the hugest Breath of the Wild fan. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed just being in the world, but I wasn't such a huge fan of all the quest systems and how they worked. I wasn't a fan of it. I actually liked Horizon Zero Dawn more as far as that. And I know I'm in the minority in that. Please save your hate. I enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn more from a questing RPG perspective.
Wow. Although I was chewing something when you said that and I almost choked on it.
There you go. But you have not finished playing Horizon Zero Dawn, so you can't have this conversation.
Don't you dare.
You can't have this. You can't have this conversation with me because you have not finished playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Anyway.
Are you serious right now?
I'm about to mute his mic.
Anyway. I'm going to go back to chewing. Continue, please.
No, look, and I'm not saying the game is not worth it. I love Breath of the Wild. Let's be clear. Oh, and by the way, I have Breath of the Wild on Wii U. And I also have it on Switch. So don't talk to me about me not liking Breath of the Wild. I have it on both places. Yes, I'm one of the few that owned a Wii U, and it's still connected because my kids like it. Okay? So I enjoyed them. But the problem was when you play them both back to back, right? You play them back to back. All of a sudden, Breath of the Wild starts like ruining Horizon Zero Dawn. Why? Because Breath of the Wild, you can climb wherever the hell you want. Horizon Zero Dawn, you can only climb where they tell you to. Stuff like that became very apparent. So during that time frame when they both came out pretty close together, people started giving those comparisons in reviews, and it led to sales.
Horizon is open world on rails.
But you can't say that because you have not played it.
I said it.
You haven't.
I just
have
said
you
it.
Played it,
I can't say I said it. Yes, I played it.
Have you played it, sir?
I'm like 2 hours into it.
Oh, God. That game is like 13, 14 hours, man. Come on. The proving is just the proving. You haven't even seen the freaking logo of the game if you have to prove it. Get out of here, bro. And I've beaten that game on PlayStation 5, and I bought that game on Steam to play on not Steam, on is it on Steam? I think it's on the Steam or the Epic Game Store. But I have the PC version, and I'm planning on playing through that as well. My point is, and this is, you don't hate on my preference. It's just a preference, okay? I know that PlayStation was aware of it because during that time I heard a lot of the same kind of conversation. Okay, I heard a lot of the same kind of conversation that, oh man, they shouldn't have been released so close together because the game by itself is great, but when compared to the competitor, it loses something, So even though, you're right.
All you gotta do is compare Horizon Zero Dawn to ReCore, which was released like 6 months earlier. It's a post-apocalyptic world. It's run by robots.
No, but you don't look at. Okay, look. This is a similar situation. It's a similar situation to Titanfall 2. That's what this is. It's a great game that gets overshadowed by another great game that everybody else wants more, and they're trying to avoid that. I can understand that. That's a good look by Sony. I want more people to play Horizon because I think Horizon is freaking great. Even the first one is really, really good. Like it is. But a lot of people were so focused on Breath of the Wild, and not too many people played both at the same time. They picked Horizon, Breath of the Wild over Horizon, and rightly so, because this is Zelda we're talking about. Nobody wants to compete with that. You know what I'm saying? So they are. I agree with them to try and avoid Breath of the Wild, 100%, because they kind of got dashed by Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is coming out next year.
And that's the reason.
This year,
this brings back to your point. Brings it back to what Jim Ryan said. They are about official word. Does that mean it could get delayed? Of course it could. But when they ask him in an interview, he's not giving honest insight. That comes from Phil Spencer.
Yeah, but that's not.
We're trying this and that. When Jim Ryan says it's coming out in 2021, it's because that's the official word. That's what it is. We know it is. Will it really? It remains to be seen. But they damn well want it to because they want to avoid Breath of the Wild too.
I don't think. I'm just going by Dan Smooth's history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when he tries to make when he makes these comments, he says them as jabs. So what did he say? He said, if we put a game out when it's ready, and we don't want to put out games that are just okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is a way of priming the pump to let people know, to soften the blow, to expect some delays.
Of course,
right? So we
don't live in a vacuum. COVID is a thing.
They already said Ragnarok is next year.
Mm-hmm.
If Horizon doesn't come out, what does we know? Kenna is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Saifu's not coming out this year anymore. So what is happening on the PlayStation side of things for the next 6 months? Because for me,
that is a very interesting question.
It looks like they have sort of won the first 6 months, but the next 6 months, round two.
Yeah. Wasn't there a very funny meme that was making the rounds on the internet where they were showing like the well-built calf of the back end of a horse?
Bring that up. It's in the. I put it in the PTG chat. See if you can bring it up.
Let me look it up. I was like, oh man, these people are just going. They're doing too much right now.
But let's go. Let's talk about while you look for that. Let's talk about the other thing because we hit 1 o'clock here.
Okay.
And I got a little bit of a hard stop, but I want to get through all of these topics.
Oh, go ahead.
You wanted to ask about easy mode. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Here's the thing that came up. This is literally the PlayStation experience at this point. Oh, and a real hot take from me, which will be an unpopular opinion. Oh yeah, Deathloop. Deathloop is coming. Oh, that also got delayed, 2022.
You said Deathloop? What are you talking about?
Deathloop. That was coming because we're like, how is their PlayStation going to look like? That's also been delayed.
What is Deathloop? It's
supposed to come out this year.
Oh, Deathloop.
It's been delayed to 2022.
Okay, Deathloop. I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm thinking Returnal. Deathloop. Is that officially delayed?
Yes, it's officially been delayed.
Nah, bring it up on screen. I need to see.
Oh, here we go again.
We need to see hard evidence of this.
Just because you didn't see the email, the thing.
Tokyo Ghostwire was delayed. I didn't know.
Also delayed, yes.
Delayed. Didn't that State of Play? They said it was coming out this year.
Am I wrong? I could be wrong. Hold on.
Ghostwire. I think it's Ghostwire, man.
Hold on. Yeah, I might be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't want to put some false information out here. Hold up. Let's see. Let's make sure. I will check real quick and I'll let you know.
I gotta keep Kate honest.
Oh no! Hey, I'm here. I'm all about the facts. If the facts are wrong, please correct me. I'm happy to hear it. Let me see. I could have sworn you might be right. It might be because it's both from Two Microsoft.
Be the first time.
Oh, stop the BS. Two Microsoft studios releasing PlayStation games. One got delayed. Maybe that's what it is. Hold up. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see the they keep saying pre-order, but I don't see the release date. But needless to say, I will say you're probably right. I'll keep looking and I'll let you know definitively in a minute. But yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this easy mode stuff here. Okay,
AKA the way that Kei Asante plays all his games.
That's actually absolutely not true, and I will dog you out and call you out because before the show you were full throated in your adoration for easy mode because that's what you do in the beginning of most games. So stop clowning.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll say it right now. Yes, I will start a game on easy, and then I will adjust the difficulty, and I'll end it on hard mode. That's
let me hold on. Let's frame the story. Okay, I could be wrong, but I think this all started. All of this started with a Colin Moriarty tweet. Well, no. It originally started because, of course, a Microsoft studio came out and said, "Hey, for accessibilities, let's show you let's show you what Psychonauts 2 will have for accessibility features." And they showed and they did a whole lot of work to get those accessibility features out there. And one of the accessibility features is basically invincibility mode, where just like Ratchet and Clank, you can play the game without dying once, just undiable, like you're unkillable. You'll just float through the game because some people need that, right? And with that, I don't know, like I missed some of the back and forth because I try to avoid the drama, but somewhere down the line, a tweet came out from Colin Moriarty, and basically, I won't quote him directly, but the basic gist of it was that if you're a developer, if you're a reviewer, and you play on easy mode, you shouldn't be allowed to review that game because you're not getting the full experience or something like that. And it spiraled into easy mode hate, basically. Huh?
I disagree with that.
We're gonna get into what we think. I'm just laying the groundwork right now. It spiraled into this easy mode hate to the point where everyone took their shots at it, deciding whether they agreed or disagreed. I'm a big fan of the Xbox 2, Jez Corden and Randall Thor. They spoke on it yesterday, and their opinions on the matter was it's a developer decision. They shouldn't be bullied into it or bullied out of it. It should just be what they choose to do. And that's where we are now with the internet just going crazy because games like FromSoft, all FromSoft games, right? That every time a game comes out, that's the first thing. Oh, there should be an easy mode or whatever. And then of course people bring up, oh, come on now, we've been gaming in the past for a long time. Games have always been difficult. So let me ask you, in the world we live in today, do you think that easy mode should be a requirement? B,
no.
a really, really, really like wink, wink, nudge, nudge suggested option? Or C, just leave it to their devices. If a dev chooses to make it, they do. If they don't choose to make it, that's no big deal. Or the final option, easy modes for bitches. Stop it. What do you think?
I'm actually more of a fan of a single mode. Like if I because for me, like if you have a well balanced game, you don't need an easy or a hard mode, right? You gradually onboard people. You learn skills as you play, and it kind of teaches you. And it rewards you for the right things, incentivizes these things. And once you learn the game's language, you should be able to make it to the end, right? But at the same time, I don't like hard modes. The only games I play on the top difficulty settings just to challenge myself, and I've always been this way, is Halo. Halo is the only thing I gotta play on Legendary. I start Halo on normal, and then I work my way up to Legendary. Right? I do 2 playthroughs of every campaign for Halo.
I've done like 18 playthroughs of each campaign, but yes, I hear you.
So that's the thing. By the way, we do this thing when Halo comes out every time. I don't know if you want to get in on this, but we have a race to 1,000 gamer score.
Oh, bro, I've been trying to get to all the Halo MCC gamer score.
But this is what I'm saying. From the day Halo 5 drop, it starts. You got to get every achievement. You got to hit your 1,000.
That's that.
And if you
I have wife, kids. That's tough, man.
Listen, you're dealing with people who have wives and kids.
Yeah,
so it's not everybody got.
We'll do
what I mean?
We'll do it. Yeah, I'm down.
You're down. I'm down. Let me know.
I may not be first, but I may be at least second or third.
I remember when I was doing this with my boy Yabi, and we were doing Halo 3, and then the problem was you had achievements that required you to go online, and then there was these forums at the time where it's like, okay, you need the triple headshot sniper rifle achievement, so we all gonna line up so you can shoot the three of us. You can get that, and then you gonna line up for us so we can get it.
That's right. Right. You know, but Halo used to have some weird achievements that were only accessible through this weird thing, and then it's gone, and you'll never be able to get it again.
Yeah.
It's just. I hope those things don't come back, but.
Anyway, for me, that's how I think it should be. I think it should be one mode that starts easy and then trains you to by the time you get to the end, it is hard.
Yeah. That is your take on
progression. Yes. Now that being said, for kiddie games, right? Games, the all ages games, the ones that you want kids to play. Absolutely. I think it's a laudable thing that Psychonauts, it has modes like that. And I think Ratchet has a mode like that as well.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. Oh, yeah. Like a bunch of them, yeah.
That, but I don't expect Demon Souls to have a mode like that either, right? So if Demon Souls says, like, this is what you're doing, or any From Software game, or even Returnal. Now, Returnal is an issue for me personally because I think if you're going to have that, but it's too much based on luck, right?
So it's not hard. It's the luck of the draw where you get an easy time to a save point or a very hard time. That's the part that was a little. So that's your opinion on it,
right?
Because I want to give you my take when you're ready.
But to the specific point of reviewers playing on easy mode, I think that is a little bit of gatekeeping to me that I think is kind of stupid, right? Like you want someone you're experiencing the game, right? You want a person to. I think you still got that experience if you played it on easy. Now, and even the thing with the reviewers, like if they didn't finish a game, I think all they have to, as long as they disclose that they didn't finish a game or that they played it on easy mode, I think that's all fair game and done. I don't think I don't think that's a problem, right? Okay. Now, and all of that being said, I think that Cuphead was too difficult. I think Cuphead should have had like an easy and normal mode because that shit was ridiculous. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. I think reviewers should just disclose what difficulty setting they played on. I think they should disclose whether they finished the game or not. But I think it's totally laudable, and I agree with what they're doing at Double Fine and what they did at Insomniac to say, hey, this is a game we want a lot of people to play, and let's make a mode where people can experience this thing. And they've been doing this for a long time. Like, do you just want to experience the story? They did that with Resident Evil, so they make stuff.
So let me give you my take real quick, okay? Most folks talk about it, and your take on it is very righteous. I agree with you to that aspect. But there's a side of this that most folks don't really take into consideration. Okay, and that's where, in my world, that the question I asked you, where do you want it A, B, C, or D? I would like B, not mandate, but strong suggestion of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Why? I will never use that mode. You'll probably never use that mode. But there are people who genuinely, and I'm not talking kids, that's another aspect of it, but there are blind folks, there are people who aren't as dexterous as we are. Like, there are people who have actual physical liabilities, if you will, and there are liabilities in life. They should not be liabilities in gaming. And because of that, even though we have our 10 fingers and 10 toes and we love our games, it's exactly the same as the idea of bringing games to PC and now all of a sudden it's no longer valid for PlayStation. No,
right?
You can have your hard mode. Keep your hard mode. Shut the hell up about somebody who needs the easy mode because it's not you. Shut up about it.
I think
it's not cool to put it in yourself and not be able to think outside yourself. Some people have one hand. They can't play for as long. Shut up. You have no right to speak on stuff like this because gaming is supposed to be for everyone. I'm not talking about you. Oh, if you want to clown your boy who could play it on hard mode but chooses to play, you want to rib him, sure. But this idea of like bullying developers into or out of it, I don't think it should be mandated because there's everything is resource driven, right? Everything is resource driven, right? So it's all about resources. If you're an indie developer and you don't have the resources or whatever, I don't want that to be what stops you. But there should be a strong emphasis on accessibility. Some people are blind. Some people can't do this. Some people can't do that. Some people have a carpal tunnel.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. I think
it's unfair for normal people to gatekeep those who may not be able to conform.
That's bullshit. I completely understand that in spirit, but at the same time, I do not believe that every game needs to be for everybody.
No. But that's a choice. No. Hold on. But that's a choice for the gamer to decide, not for the developer to decide, because that's not fair. Because you can't go to a store and go, nah, man, you can't buy that. That's not for you. Come on now. That's for you to decide that I don't want to buy that because it's not for me.
But you can decide that as the gamer by the difficulty. You could say this game is too difficult, so I can't fuck with it. No,
but my point is, and you know where I'm coming from, and I'm not arguing with you specifically. Let's be clear. I agree with your points. The reason where I'm coming from with this is because I've heard I forget the name of the gentleman, Blind Guy Steve, I think his name is. Like, he's a gamer who's a very big advocate for accessibility features and things like that. And listening to him, I think he was on the now I'm losing it. He was on Kind of Funny's Xcast podcast, Xcast. I think this week I heard them recording it live, and I've heard him speak and I've heard him. He was a consultant on The Last of Us 2's accessibility features and many of the other games that have good Gears. He's worked with Microsoft and Sony and Ubisoft and a bunch of them about this idea. Folks always stay within us, the quote unquote normals, and hash out the problems based on that. And to me, when you forget that there are those among us that should be able to game but may not have everything they need to do so, that changes the equation for me. Ever since that time, it makes me go, yeah, From Software should go, look, this is our vision, and we will advocate that when you, the normal, come in and want to play, this is the vision. This is how hard it is. But we should put an accessibility mode in the tab somewhere and go, hey, if you have this issue, if you have that issue, because all those other people deserve to at least experience the game. They can decide after they get in there it's not for them. Another thing that I heard from the advocate that I thought was very interesting, that's the big reason why they love, with a capital L, Game Pass. Because most folks with disabilities don't know that they can play a game until they have it in their hands. And just that difficulty setting means nothing to them because they have to literally try it and see how it works with their body and then decide whether they liked it or not. And by most cases, they won't let you just try that. You bought it. You own it now. You've lost your money. Game Pass lets you try that. And if you don't like it, when you look at it from a accessibility perspective, from people who can't walk, people who can't talk, people who can't see, people who have issues being able to play like we do, that frames for me anyway, that changes the conversation in a completely different direction. At which case I say there should be a minimum requirement, a minimum floor of these are the accessibility features that we as the gaming community think will help everyone be able to play, right? And both Microsoft, Sony, all of the big ones should advocate, not force, but advocate for those features being added, even if it means helping you with resource-wise to get you to implement that in your game, because it's just about the people who can't conform to us. We can have the debate, oh yeah, you ain't good enough to play Demon Souls. Yeah, I'm not playing Demon Souls. I'm not that guy. I don't want to bang my head against the wall for 15 hours just to make one small leap forward. Sure. But if someone who suffers from extreme carpal tunnel, maybe has three fingers on their hands, they really love these kind of games. Who the hell are you, Mr. Gatekeeper, to tell them they can't play that? That's messed up. That's how I feel about it.
I hear you,
but
and I understand. I just
you like only people who agree with you. Thank you, Fuzzy.
No, but my thing is this: I should it be encouraged? Yes,
by all.
I do believe that you have to let if the developers have a vision, right, and they say that this is the only way I want my game played. I think you have to let the market do the rest, right? I think you have to say.
I think that's a little bit of a slippery slope, because then they're carving out who like they're basically gatekeeping their own game from people. That's a little. It's a slippery slope, because you can go down that path. Oh, you, Mr. Everborn, there's something about you I don't like. So because of that, you don't get to buy my product. That's a little slippery slope,
okay,
man.
All right, I make a comic book, right?
Yeah.
What if so? Am I making a product that is bad for people who are blind?
No, you're not. Like I said, it's a resource thing. Now, if let's say in this scenario, exactly what you're describing here. Hold on, let me. Exactly this scenario is describing here. Okay, the Everborn Saga is on Amazon right now. You can buy it, right? But the Everborn Saga cheap plug is on everborn.com, everbornsaga.com, right? Where it is sold and you can get the proceeds. Now, if Everborn had the resources of an Amazon, right? I would expect Amazon to go, no, Everborn, we're not going to force you to make a Braille version. We're going to incentivize you. We're going to push you to want you to make a Braille version by helping you with the resources to do so, which Microsoft does on many occasions. This is I guess all I'm saying, and I know there's a lot of mushy middle there. All I'm saying is this is a sensitive topic that requires intelligence and sensitive people to be sensitive to the fact that it's not about you, normal average gamer. It's not about you. It's about those who may not conform to the standard idea of normal, but also want to play games. And when that gets into your head, that becomes a what women do with their bodies kind of conversation. I call out at that point. Sure, you do you, because 100%. Like I have no right to say, well. So in your scenario, you have
a right to tell the developers what to do.
Of course not, and that's why I said I'm not saying mandate it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying promote it. So to the point where, hey, Microsoft put the freaking adaptive controller on a Super Bowl ad. You know how expensive Super Bowl ads are, and that adaptive controller works on everything. It works on PC. It works on PlayStation. It works on Switch. It was there to help accessibility. So I don't want them to mandate, but you making the Everborn game, let's say you're bringing it to Xbox, you're bringing it to somewhere else. I don't want them to say, nah, you can't bring your game on here because it doesn't have any accessibility features. But what I would like them to do is go, hey, Everborn, we have these frameworks that we've developed with the help of all these other competitors in this game space, and we've all agreed that this is the minimum standard that everyone can enjoy. You have your vision, keep your vision. We're not modifying your vision at all, to the point where even in the settings, for instance, maybe it won't be under normal settings and difficulty or whatever, right?
I mean, I hear that. And Beast Mode, thank you. You
thank you so much, man. We appreciate you being here. It's awesome having you part of the conversation. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully have you back, 100%.
Yeah, I think
you see what I'm saying? I want them to come to you and say, hey, developer, these are our minimum standards. We're not forcing you, but let us help you get them there. You don't even have to pay for it. We'll help you implement.
Shame you publicly if you don't.
No. Do you know who's shaming publicly? The average gatekeeper moron gamer. That's where I'm angry. Not the normal people, not the developer, not the publishers. It's the normal know-nothings going, oh, why you got to be a bitch and not play it easy? Like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about what we mandate. But I do think there has
been no public shaming officially. It's just people are doing the shaming, and I think that's inappropriate.
What I don't want to see happen is we say that everybody, like, there is a sense of sort of a achievement that you get knowing you beat a difficult game. And there is a
and
vision.
You can still have that.
And there's a vision that you get.
It's exactly like, hey, you love your PlayStation 5 game. Even though I can still play it on PC, you still got your trophies. You still enjoyed them. Just because you played it on there doesn't mean that I don't get to play it on PC. Just because the game is hard as F and you succeeded and you're like, yay, doesn't mean an easy mode makes it less hard for you.
What I'm saying is, I think accessibility is a laudable goal, and there should be efforts made to have things in tools in place to help people who have those sort of those disabilities or things like that. What I don't want to get into the mood of is this thing where you don't have to get good at a game. There's some games that you just got to get good at, right? And that's the whole point. If we dumb down everything, right? That's different. I'm having a different conversation from
exactly. Look. I guess what I'm talking to you about.
That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about disabled people. They're talking about the people who just want the easy ride. And I don't like. I can understand that part of it. Everything you said about accessibility, I'm totally on board for. But if somebody just doesn't want to get good at a game and we want to reward them for certain games, maybe you just have to get good at specific games.
And even that, let's take the accessibility out of it, okay? The image, the vision of the game is not diminished, because when you make the game, right? Let's say you're bringing your game to PlayStation, you're bringing your game to Xbox. You have your game. You've spent all this time working on it. You made Axiom Verge, single man developer, 7 years. This is your game.
Here's a better example. Same thing you're talking about. Tunic.
Exactly. Oh, that game is hard as fuck. But let's go. Yes. Let's continue down that path. Tunic. You think Tunic is only going to have that mode? No, it won't. When it comes out full,
you don't know that.
Hard mode.
You have no idea.
Okay. We don't know that. You're right on that. But if it doesn't, I am the person that would say that's not cool. Specifically platform games. Those are the hardest games to play, specifically because there's and as I've learned while listening to people who advocate for accessibility features, that stuff is necessary for some people to even be able to get through the game itself as a minimum. But taking that away, no accessibility, that as we've agreed, right?
I think that needs to be most for those people. But what I'm saying is,
I hear you, but just because you want that, just because the developer wants the ideal experience, and yes, 100%, you can have that ideal experience. All I'm saying to you is, you can have the standard mode and have the easy mode, because one doesn't take away from the other. Like, why does people? To me, that is still gatekeeping. Do you know? Like, you know what it is to balance a game and the resources involved with balancing that game. And you're just saying, 100%. You just need to. You have to do this. No. Look. I'm not. Again, when we were talking about this, I said that's why I don't want it to be mandated. That's why I want even the bigger dogs to offer resources to assist in it. I am not saying mandate, because the resources are the name of the game here, people. It's all about resources, especially in the indie space. You can only do so much with the money you have, with the time you have. I get all that. What I'm saying is, in the general sense, and every game will be different, and the logistics will be different, and the nuances will be different, and I appreciate all that. All I'm saying is, the idea that Bloodborne playing as Bloodborne plays is awesome. That doesn't change the fact if it's dialed down a bit because somebody else wants to play it a little easy peasy.
Let me put it to you in a different way. I had a conversation with you the other night, which we will not bring up and we will not reference in any way, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes. We had a good conversation. Yes.
Now, when I was playing Tunic, there were times I wanted to give up because I'm like, this shit is too difficult. I don't have time for it. I don't want to do it. But I didn't run away from that. I pushed through until I got to the end of the demo and made it out of the thing. And doing that, I think, teaches people life lessons. if we just keep giving them easy way outs because things are too difficult for them, then maybe we're not.
But that's not their mandate. That's not their mandate. Their mandate, and I'll give you 2 points. Their mandate is for you to buy their game and enjoy it. That's point one. Point two, how long have we heard developers complaining that most gamers don't get to the end of their games? Because difficulty is a factor in the equation. A lot of people don't want, like you just did there. That's great. But fuck that.
You know how
a lot of
good
some people
look.
That is for you. Look, listen. That is for you. The goal to push through and make it happen. Wonderful. But for somebody else, playing Mass Effect, maybe just about the story. Screw the hard shooty, and it should both be okay. Just because you got that enjoyment, I'm not taking that away from you. But you shouldn't force others to have to go through what you went through because you enjoyed it. That's you. That's you, and that can be you, and it can continue to be you, and that's cool. But somebody may not have the time or the effort or the ability, and that should not be, screw you then. Like,
isn't the subtext of that, though, like, you don't have to get better, you just have to.
But this is not an allegory for life. This is gaming and a product that they want everyone to play. Developers are all about, we want you to see the end of our game because we spent so much time working on it. But then we make it as hard as possible to weed out 80% of those who try. That's BS.
Everything is a microcosm.
This is not an allegory for life. It's not. I hear you, but this specifically is not an allegory for life.
Allegory for life.
It is not.
Things amount to the bigger things. So what I'm saying is I understand it. Right?
I understand it, but
you saying that you shouldn't. I think you're trivializing games when you say this is not an allegory for life. Those things mean something. You get life lessons. A lot early on, me learning to read as a kid, it was because I wanted to read the text in RPGs, right? Like that's just so
what you're saying is so what you're saying is in that world, handing a kid a phone that then reads everything for them stops the development.
Yes, it's making them stupid. Autocorrect makes us stupid. Dumbing everything down makes us stupid and less. But
listen. But that's my point. But that's my point. My point is, it is then for the dad or the mom to be like, hey, I'm turning off autocorrect because you need this. But that doesn't mean autocorrect needs to disappear altogether. Like, that's BS. Come on.
Maybe
yes, you child will turn it off because for you it's not necessary right now because you're learning something else. But that doesn't mean we do away with autocorrect altogether.
Be clear, I'm still using autocorrect, and it's still
exactly
messing up conversations on a daily basis.
Pro tip for any PC gamers who are sick and tired of this whole conversation about hard mode and whatnot. Download WeMod. Any game you want to make super, you can have 1 billion lives. Yeah, WeMod will help you do that. Why do people have to do that? Why do people have to do that instead of letting people play the way they want to play? The idea is a product that makes you happy that you purchased. And let me be clear here. I'm playing devil's advocate because my average gaming, the way I game average, is I always play on normal. And if normal is a little too, I'll go harder. But I live in a world where just because I am that way doesn't mean I can't. Doesn't mean I'm incapable of seeing beyond myself. Others have different use cases, and they should be allowed to do that. And I'll still keep playing normal to hard. It won't change me any. It won't be anything. And they'll get to enjoy it too. I think it's righteousness. Come on. So I hear what you're saying, but I push back a little based on that. Even in the world where accessibility is not part of the equation, I think folks do too much with this gatekeeping of, get good, son. Like, come on, man. It's a little too much.
I'm not talking about accessibility, but
no, I'm talking in general. Even if it's just homie,
on the participation award train.
I'm talking.
I don't
there you go.
That shit.
It's not about participation award.
You get an award just because you tried. No,
it's not. Look, you bought the product. You should be able to get out of it what you want. You paid for that product with your hard-earned money. You should not be character. So you pay for it, and then they have to clown you to make, like, come on, that's BS. But Before we close up, I do remember the last topic of this conversation, and I do want to talk about it.
I don't know if I can. I gotta run now. Yeah. Okay. But I do want to talk about it next week if we can.
Okay,
if possible.
The topic of conversation, which we'll get back to because it is a very much an evergreen topic that we will definitely have to revisit, is who is the Netflix of gaming? Is it Microsoft or is it Netflix? Quick cut to the chase. It's not Netflix. And it won't be Netflix because guess what? Netflix runs on Amazon, and Amazon has Luna, so it's going to be the Luna of gaming. There's no way that this is going to be. It runs on Luna.
I'm not going to let you open up this can of worms, sir. I'm not going to respond.
So that's a different conversation.
But I will save that for later.
Anyway, yes. So needless to say, this was a barn burner of 3 hours and 30 minutes. And by and large, most of the folks that started with us are still with us right now. So we really appreciate all y'all for joining.
Pixels,
Fuzzy, we appreciate you, man.
Slow-mo,
thank you so much. Slow-mo came.
One bad Mo.
Pixel bit. We still gonna contact you, sure, Pixel. We really appreciate all y'all just joining the conversation with us. Making your voices heard. We love the back and forth with the community, and that's how this show is built, and that's how we want to keep doing it. We don't want to just have our conversations and not listen to y'all. Y'all make the show better. We really appreciate y'all.
And do us a favor. Share this with people.
Please. Yes, we enjoyed that.
We want to get Mr. K Asante to 100 subs so that he can have a custom.
So I can finally tell people to go where to go to my YouTube page, because right now it's this weird gobbledygook. Yeah, indeed. Yes. So thank you guys again. Thank you so much. No PC next time, damn it.
Yes, I agree with Big Bad Mo.
Get out of here with all of that. We're gonna go VR talk next time. Y'all gonna see. But of course, knowing us, it'll all diverge back down to the back and forth anyway. That's how it always ends up with us anyway.
Back and forth.
But anyway,
being trash.
So if y'all missed last week's episode, Everborn wasn't here, unfortunately, but I was able to get my man on, a developer with many years of experience. I'm actually trying to get him back on with Everborn, so we can have more inside perspective kind of chats. He really had fun. And those that watch it, we appreciate it. The numbers were pretty good. So thank you so much. We will be back next week. What we'll be talking about? Well, y'all gonna have to wait and see. We actually probably don't know. Right? I personally don't really have a full accounting of what it'll be yet. But as the news gods provide, we will adapt. But until then, you can catch us, both Everborn and myself, on Thursdays on his channel, where we will be on The Real, and that is the TV show and movie podcast where the man Everborn and myself and Mr. LeVar Johnson, we chop it up on all the day's news, movies and TV.
If you missed that one,
and we get really slanderous. Last week's episode, oh boy. If you like Batman, you may not want to watch that one. But we get in depth. We have a real good time on that show. On Mondays, myself and Everborn again. You can find us on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick. And thank you so much, Boom, for coming into the chat as well. We appreciate you as well. Besides that, you catch me on TK0 Asante on Twitter. Why? Because for some reason PlayStation doesn't like an O. That's neither here nor there.
But you see how you did that, and you were messing up, and I shamed you into success.
You did not shame me into success.
I shamed you every week into success. You did not.
And
this is what I'm saying for games. You need some kind of strife to push you forward. This is what you
need. Get out of here.
So you need games.
Look. I already knew that needed to change anyway. The problem is they don't work together, and because of that, it's a problem. But needless to say. Thank you so much. You can reach me there, but you can keep me. I love Twitter. If you follow me, you'll get a lot of chat from me. So if you like that, follow me. I will definitely follow you back, Mr. Everborn Saga. Where can the fine people catch up with you this week in what you're doing?
So we already talked about On The Real on Thursdays at 8. You can find me and you together again on Mondays on Boom's channel, Primetime Gaming, 7 p.m. sharp every Monday. But most importantly, Everborn Saga everywhere. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm very active on Twitter. Everybody who follows me, I follow them back. but most importantly, everbornsaga.com, where we have officially shipped out all of the Kickstarter rewards. If you filled out a survey, your reward is either with you or somewhere in the mail right now. All the books came over from China. We will be at New York Comic Con this year. We got a booth and we got the product to spread the good word about Everborn. And officially, if you missed the Kickstarter, Ariel's Adventure Chapter 1 is available right now, and I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post on my channel a review that's kind of like goes over the prologue of the story to tell everybody what Everborn is about. I think it's 6 minutes long. I think people will really, if you don't know what it is, that'll teach you guys about it. And look forward for that video coming soon, and look forward to the announcement of our next series that is coming at the end of the summer. Hopefully it'll be in time for Comic-Con. We shall see. But everbornsaga.com, and you can get your hands on the books, and Everborn Saga everywhere else if you want to get a hold of me. That is all I got. Now I have to go deal with family duties because this was a long show.
I apologize. It's been such a long show. So we will continue doing this conversation. We appreciate everybody who has been joining us on this show and continues to join us on this show. And you will see us again next week. Oh man, we may be having technical difficulties. My mouse stopped working. I can't cancel the show. That's gonna be fun. But all right, we'll do this the hard way. You will catch us again on the next show. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you again. Yes. I'm gonna hold up. This is gonna be one.
Just smash the computer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to because unfortunately I'm gonna have to do it. Ready? Good night, all.
Oh boy.